Across the UK, online and on DAB.
We are Talk.
Talk Radio. Give it some lip.
Talk Radio.
So we're going to make it hard for ourselves, as per every so often. New and newish callers only tonight, please. So if you're a regular, if you've called a lot, thank you very much. You can listen, but don't call in. If you've never called in or you've only done it once or twice, tonight is your night on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There we go. 0844 4991. Whoa! Hey! Whoa! Hang on a second. No. It's because it won't pick. We're having a little bit of trouble. I say we. Let me start again. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the old, what do they call it? The internet. In that there are two, I can bore you with this? Yes, I will, while you're all rushing to your phones to call in. 0844 499 1000. Oh, new callers, new and newish callers only tonight, please, if we can be so bold. Now, I'm aware that we may have completely spaffed off all of our new callers in previous new caller nights only. I'm aware that that may be the case. What with us being the best show on at this time of the night with the lowest audience figures. And we've done about maybe 3 or 4 kind of newish caller nights. And we might not have any newish callers left. Which could make the next 3 hours a little bit tricky, huh? But we'll have a go. You know, why not? Well, the worst that will happen is it will be me sat here for 3 hours talking to myself. That's the worst case scenario, right? That's the worst thing that could happen, and I can dig that. Can you dig it? Yeah, I know. So, if you've never called in before, and I'm aware, Kath, could you come and fiddle with the aircon because it's flipping hot, and I don't know if it's cooling down or not. 7-Up cooling down. I'm aware that as a listener, it can sometimes seem that the show is a little bit niche or cliquey. The Americans insist on saying click when they mean clique. And that means that some people in this country, because we take a lot of cues from the Americans, that some people in this country say click instead of clique. And it is one of the most annoying things known to me. Oh, it's, they're in their own clique. No, they're not. They're in a clique. They're in a clique, you see. Not a clique. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. I'm aware, as a listener to the show, you hear the kind of usual, and this is not in any way a criticism of the usuals and the regulars. I like the usuals. Most of them. There's two I don't. I like the regulars and the kind of the, almost the soap opera aspect you get of it, of the stories that kind of wend their way through the shows. But I am aware that we don't have many listeners, cards on the table, we don't have many listeners, and, it's not really possible for me to, pick and choose the callers that come on. You know, the ideal situation is you have hundreds of callers. It's a palette, and some people may call up and you'll say, well, you were on yesterday, so why don't you give us a call in a couple of days' time? And other places, LBC and Absolute, well, we could do that, it's fine. Here, we haven't, and it tends to be, if you call up, you'll get on. Even if you were on an hour ago, you'll get on. And that's fine, and that's just the way it is with a new station. And I kind of knew that was going to be the case, and that's fine. But as a listener, if you're maybe a little bit nervous or apprehensive or thinking, well, I would like to call in about that, but I feel a little bit uncomfortable doing so because, tonight's the night. If you play your cards right. Tonight's the night for kind of doing that. And for picking up the phone and dialing 0844 499 1000 and calling in. And I'm going to make it a little bit easier as well. Because, as you know, on this show, we don't really come in with loads of stuff to talk about and say, well, this is what we're going to talk about this evening. But, I don't mind doing that a little bit tonight and kind of giving you a little nudge. So, you can call in about anything you want, as per usual, but there is one thing that I need to ask you. Now, I bought, for some reason, I don't know why, I never buy this. Right? I bought Q magazine. I've got into this terrible new routine, which is gonna bite me on the arse at some point. But I drive into work and I drive past a service station on the M4 and I stop in there and I get my soya latte. £3.50 it cost me. £3.50 for a soya latte. I know, what a ponce, but £3.50? That's ridiculous. If I have one of those every day on the way into work, that's like 5 days a week. It was 30 quid, something like that. I'm going to be skint. And anyway. So I was in there to do it, and for some reason, it takes the lad in the Costa, in the service, it takes him absolutely ages to make the coffee. I mean, it just like forever. It doesn't start well because there's three lads that work there and they're always chatting by the fridge. Always chatting. I'll get to the point of the phone in a minute. They're always chatting by the fridge. And I always have to say rather loudly, excuse me, guys, can I get a coffee, please? So that slows things down and then he takes ages. And so I pop off into the Smiths while he's spending forever making my soya latte. And soya is soya's a nut, is it? A nut or a seed or something. How the hell do they get milk out of a nut? Is it a nut or is it like wheat? I genuinely don't know. And you should always know what you're putting in your mouth, kids. I genuinely don't know. 0844 499 1000. Is soya a nut or a wheat? Right. And how do they get milk from it? Oh, I've got to remind you what I've been tell you what I've been doing with my dog, right? Because my dog's in season, right? And I took her to the vets before she was in season because we want to get her done. We want to get her, I don't know, when they get, is it spayed? Is that what they do to the thing? Do they cut the womb out? Is that what happens? So many questions. I wasn't going to be talking about any of this. I think they can do it now. Keyhole. But Alan, I'll come to you in a minute. 0844 499 1000. They can do it now, keyhole surgery, which is a little bit more expensive. And the downside of the keyhole surgery is the dog doesn't have to wear a cone around its neck, which is, and I made, when I went to the vets to talk about getting the dog spayed, and they said, well, you can have it keyhole surgery, which is great for the dog because they don't have to wear the cone around the neck. And I said, oh, that's a shame. I like the cone. I think it looks funny. And I got a dirty look from the girl behind the thing at the vets. And I said, don't you think it looks funny? She went, no, I don't. I said, oh, you don't like chucking food into it and watching it spin around? She said, no, I don't. All right. But, so gonna get her spayed. They cut out it. Have I got this right? I literally have no idea. They cut the womb out of the dog? Is that it? Is that what they do? Anyway. So the dog season comes I'll get to the point in Q in a minute. It's genuinely, if it's true, it's the most interesting thing you're ever going to hear about Simon and Garfunkel, right? But, so you can only, the dog has a season every 6 months, right? And you can only get the dog spayed. The best time to get the dog spayed is 3 months after a season. So right in between, right? Because if you get it either side, things swell up and it's difficult to get bits and pieces out. So the vet explained to me. And I didn't know this is her second season. I didn't know when the first season was. I wasn't really paying attention. So I took her into the vets, about a month ago to see if they could check and see if she was nearly in season. And she said, well, what you're going to have to do basically is you're going to have to wait for the next season and then come in 3 months after that finishes. All right, fine, I can do that. But, and here's the thing that I now find myself doing to my dog, right, is, the vet was playing with the dog's nipples, right? And she said, oh, the reason I'm doing that is because, when they're in season and for a while after they're in season, they produce milk. So, and the dog's, she's in season. She's a little bit cuddly. She's been humping, Ducky quite a lot, which is this giant duck. She humps that, really. But, she's obviously not feeling great, as she wouldn't be. Jane and Alan, I promise I will come to you in a minute. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. We call you back. But so I've been giving her lots of stomach rubs, right? And as I've been rubbing her stomach, I have noticed that her nipples are engorged. So I have, and this isn't, I don't think this is bestiality. I don't think so. But I have been trying to milk my dog. Nothing's come out yet, right? Nothing has come out yet. This is absolutely true, right? Is this cruel? Is this animal cruel? I mean, I don't mean viciously. I'm not like it's a cow. I'm not tugging away. I'm not hooking her up to a machine. I've just been gently squeezed, And, I've been living at home on my own for 3 weeks, right? So I've kind of become a little bit feral. Everyone comes back on Saturday. I've kind of become a little bit feral. If milk comes out tomorrow, how bad is it of me to try it? No. Everyone's pulling faces as though what I've just said is disgusting, but we drink cow milk. We drink goat milk. Some people even drink sheep milk. It would only be a drop. It would only be a drop of dog milk. Is there? This isn't the question I was going to ask you at all. I want to ask you something about Simon and Garfunkel that I found out in Q magazine that I can't believe it's true, and I need your help to tell me if it's true or not. But instead of Simon and Garfunkel, the question I'm asking you this evening is it wrong of me to drink dog's milk if I can get her to lactate tomorrow? 0844 499 1000. Jane, Alan, I'll speak to you in a second. This is Talk Radio. I think I've got Periscope working, but I'm not totally sure. I've had to do that thing that, you know when you can't get a phone signal and people do the thing where they hold it up and move it around. That doesn't actually have any effect, does it? It's like, you know, the old phones used to have the pull-out aerials in. You know they didn't do anything. They were just put there to make you think that they were doing something, but they weren't connected to anything. That was all a con. It was a psychological thing, I think. Is it working on Periscope? I've got a feeling we may be eating up my data. Who cares, guys? Right. New and newish callers only, please. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. Don't forget, I do want to ask you something about Simon and Garfunkel, but Alan's on the line. Good evening, Alan.
Evening.
Evening, Alan. How are you doing, boss? You all right?
I'm good, yeah. I've started listening to talk radio since the Olympics started. I used to listen to 5 Live, but I was just death by Olympics, so I thought I need to try listen to something else.
Here's the thing, right, and we did brilliantly in the Olympics. Well done, all of our Olympic athletes, superb work. I didn't see any of it, though, because it's all a bit boring, isn't it?
It's just overkill, you know. Again, like you, I don't begrudge our athletes, you know, fantastic performance, but it's just to death on the television. I can't, you know, it's too much.
And well, they covered it all on 5 Live, didn't they? So you'd have it all the flipping time.
Wall to wall, pretty much, yeah.
Are there any sports, Alan, that get you horny?
Football, international cricket as well, yeah.
See, the cricket for me. I've never understood the appeal of cricket. Anything that any sport that involves taking a break for lunch, to me, just seems an excessive amount of time to be spent on one activity. And also, unless you're bowling or batting, it's a bit dull, isn't it?
Well, I think the new 2020 format is a bit more exciting.
Oh yeah, that's that's pop cricket, isn't it? That's where you just go hell for leather.
Absolutely, it's just more exciting to watch. Yeah.
I do like a little bit of darts. And
is that a sport? I don't know.
Well, have you not seen those guys, Alan? They are in the peak of physical fitness.
You couldn't say that 30 years ago, could you?
I don't drink anymore, but it would be great to be able to drink for one day and just go and get absolutely stinking drunk at a darts match.
Yeah.
And darts and snooker, I can dig. Here's the thing, Alan, right? Now they are gradually... And I think this should be, because the next Olympics are in Japan, I think, 2020 in Japan.
Yeah.
And each host country is allowed to introduce a new sport. So I would like Japan to introduce video games.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, video games as a competitive sport, because if darts and snooker are considered sports, and they are considered sports by some people, then video games should be as well.
But then you'd have to think about what sort of video game, and you'd have to have different categories, I assume.
Of course. You'd have like Call of Duty, like you're running around shooting games.
Yep.
You'd have that would Grand Theft Auto. There you go. You just have Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, the IOC wouldn't like that, promoting violence.
Oh, flipping that. No, but you're allowed to give bribes in Grand Theft Auto, so the IOC would love that.
Well, it's too close to core values, isn't it? Yeah, bribes.
The thing I don't get about the Olympics and the Paralympics this year, right? The cheating Russians, right? So the Paralympic Committee said, yeah, we're going to ban the Russians because they're cheats. Well, it's obvious. But the Olympic Committee said, no, we're not going to ban them. How dodgy is that?
Well, I mean, Russia's not the only country that's got, cheaters. I mean, it's this politically motivated against Russia, I think. It's a very political... I think the IOC is very political, There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, I think. The sport's always been infiltrated by politics for years.
So hang on a minute. You're suggesting, Alan, the reason that the Russian Paralympics have been banned, and some of the Russian Olympians were banned, isn't because of the drugs. It's politics.
Absolutely, yeah. They hate Putin, basically.
Oh. Well,
I think
go on.
There's more to it than meets the eye, I think. You know, politics has been involved in sport for such a long time, you know, going back to, you know, when it was Soviet Union as well, you know.
But they are dodgepots, aren't they?
Doping does happen in Russia, but it's not the only country. You know, how many cheaters were there this year's Olympics?
Everyone then says, everyone does that lazy thing of going, well, they should all be allowed to take drugs then. And I don't think that. I think everyone should be pure, if they're going to be, a sporty thing. But, well, who was, well, no, don't give us any names, but people were on drugs at this Olympics, were they?
Well, I'm talking about athletes who were previously, you know, caught up and then they were kind of rehabilitated and came back in.
Yeah.
You know, in my view, if you're caught doping or whatever, you should be banned for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's one rule for one country and then, you know, one rule for the rest.
But hang on a minute, do you know what we've just done, Alan? We've just fallen into the trap of talking about the Olympics. Which is what you're going to go back to 5 Live now. We've lost you.
I doubt it. This is quite an eclectic show, actually. It's because there's no sort of set structure. You never know what's going to happen, to be honest.
Well, this is the thing, Alan. This is what I'm wondering. The art I'm trying to perfect is coming in to the show with nothing. And in many ways that reflects it almost tallies with the listener figures. But I'm wondering if by not being structured, by not having, 3 topics to talk about over each hour, whether that's scaring some people away. But you've called in.
Yeah, I'm sure, as British people, we've all got something to talk about, something to moan about, something to gripe about, so I don't think you have to have a set topic, really.
No, I don't. What else do you normally listen to then, Alan? Are you a bit of a radio geek?
It's mainly 5 Live, but as I say, with the Olympics, it's just turned me off. So I like Galloway's show on Talk Radio. That's kind of drawn me to Talk Radio as well. So
he's good, Galloway. He's very tiny. Because I follow him on a Friday, and I have to kind of swap take the studio over. He's very wee, but I like Galloway. I don't agree with a lot of his politics. I agree with some of them. But even though I don't agree with him, I quite like listening to him. He's a good listen.
He is. He's got a lot of character. And he's quite knowledgeable as well. Just, can I give my point on the whole dog?
Yes, dog milk.
Yeah. I'd probably say probably not, because perhaps if you're on a desert island by yourself with the dog, there might be justification, but probably not.
I'm not going to suckle. I'm just going to milk it between my thumb and forefinger, and then, literally a drop will come out. Alan, you sound quite young. I'm guessing you don't have kids or anything.
Not yet, no.
Okay, right. If you are lucky enough to be blessed with 08444991000, by the way, Jane, coming to you in a minute. If you are lucky enough to be blessed to have children, and your partner is blessed to be able to provide the milk for those children, you will often, over the first few months, open your fridge and there will be little containers of breast milk.
Which is perfectly normal, yeah.
Which is perfectly normal. And I've dipped my finger in that and had a little taste.
Well, there are some people who do that regularly, actually.
Yeah. Hey, there was a woman on Nick Ferrari the other day, right? And she was in the news 2 years ago because she was breastfeeding her 5-year-old daughter, right? And then she came on Ferrari again a couple of weeks ago to talk about something else. And as way of introduction, he said, and of course, Jane, whatever her name was, we spoke to you 2 years ago because you were breastfeeding your 5-year-old. And I'm guessing your little child is 7 now. She went, yeah, that's right. And are you still breastfeeding? And she said yes.
Oh my God.
To a 7-year-old, right? And people on Twitter and on Periscope are calling me a deviant because I want to milk my dog. I would say that out of the two, mine is less deviant than that.
Just.
Well, yeah, just.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
I mean, have you heard of the concept of placental encapsulation before?
Placenta encapsulation. Is that like what they did with Han Solo when they froze him?
Oh, I'm not really into sci-fi, but basically, I work in a sort of recruitment role, and we had someone come in and introduce themselves, and one of their hobbies was placental encapsulation. So I said, well, so what's that? And apparently, it's the uterus that comes out with the birth. It gets dried and ground up and put into tablets, and people take it. Apparently, it has real good health benefits.
I know that people. Where I used to live in North London. And it was full of yummy mummies who, I know some of them you get placenta paella.
Yeah.
And they cook and all that stuff. So I know that goes on. But I could go online and buy, like, placenta tablets.
Well, basically, that was her little cottage industry she had, yeah?
Jeez, what a cottage. What a thing. Alan, listen, man, I'm glad you found us. Fives losses, our gain. So thank you very much, man. We'll speak again.
Yeah, all the best.
Cheers, my dears. Ta-ta. 0844 499 1000. It's going to be slow going tonight in terms of volume of calls, but I always find when we do these new caller nights, the quality of calls is excellent. So, I may have to, I will have to work a bit harder. Jane, I promise I'll come to you after the break. I will have to work a little bit harder and, but the calls that we get seem to be excellent. Listen, don't be nervous. Alan there didn't have anything to call in about. He just wanted to phone up and say that, he'd switched off 5 Live and he'd found Talk Radio. So, you haven't got have to have anything to say. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. We call you back. This is Talk Radio. New and newish callers only, please. You can call in and talk about anything. I've got a question to ask about Simon and Garfunkel in a minute. I'm slapping my copy of Q magazine. Because I read something in there that I didn't know about one of their records. And it's kind of blown my mind a little bit, but we'll get to that in a bit. What have we spoken about so far? Milking dogs, the Olympics, whether video gaming is a sport, and anything else you want. If you just want to check in and say, do you know what? I made it. I made it to Thursday. We've almost made it to September. And it's hard work sometimes, isn't it? Just making it. I've had the last couple of days, man, my head has really taken me to some very, very dark places. And it's been, here comes a nice cold water. Look at that. It's hot in there, isn't it? Thank you. And my head has taken me to some very dark places. So, if you just want to check in and say, hey man, I made it. Or, hey man, one of my friends didn't make it this week. Yeah, it happens. 0844 499 1000. Jane's on the line. Evening, Jane.
Hello.
Hello, Jane.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm a brand new caller.
Brand new
caller.
Are you a first-time caller?
I'm a first-time caller and a first-time listener tonight. So how's that?
Hey, well, you're putting a lot of other people to shame. How comes you're listening for the first time this evening?
Well, this is an absolute coincidence because this morning, I was listening to Adam Buxton's podcast because I love Adam Buxton.
Yeah.
And he was talking to you.
Oh, lovely,
and
Adam Buxton.
I didn't know you had a talk radio show and all of that, so I was listening to your little podcast with him, which was fantastic, by the way. And there's nothing on after 10 o'clock on normal radio, so I don't normally listen after 10 because they're really awful on, especially talk radio, not music stuff. And when I found out you had a show, I thought, I'll tune in. And then you said, I'm asking for new
Jane,
callers.
you are unusual. In as much as what brilliant timing that you found us, and thank you so much. And I hope it works for you, and I hope you stick with us. But if it doesn't, thanks for giving it a try. But no, and I genuinely.
After you talking about lactating dogs and things, I might go back.
I know, but to call in on your first ever listen, I mean, bravo, Jane, bravo.
I'm nervous.
I'm sure you are, and it's a weird thing phoning in a radio show. I haven't done it for a long time, right? I've been interviewed on the phone on the radio, and that's fine. But when I've phoned in a radio show as just like a punter, I get nervous, and my right leg starts trembling.
Oh.
I get that. So don't worry about being nervous. It'll be over in like that, and you put the phone down. You go, oh blimey, what was that? But Adam Buxton's good, isn't he? I'm a big fan of Adam.
Big fan of his. Well, I found out lots of things. I didn't know. I didn't even know you'd done that sitcom.
No one knew, Jane. Thank God. No one.
So I must confess, I hadn't watched it.
Oh, no one saw it, and it wasn't that good. It had some moments, but it wasn't that good. Here's a thing that you may not be aware of. Then, and I need to remind Adam of this. In that podcast, Adam and I talk about a TV show we did about 6 years ago called The Persuasionists. And we jokingly say in his podcast, that we should have a cast reunion where we all watch an episode and do like a commentary on it.
Yeah.
Well, every member of the cast has agreed to this on Twitter.
Oh.
They've all said, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll do that. And I just remembered that, and that was about a month ago. And no one has pursued it. So tomorrow, I'm gonna email, Adam and, Jared Christmas and, Daisy and, Simon and, is that it? Am I missing?
I don't know.
You've never seen it. But I'm going to email them and I'm going to try and arrange it and see if we can do that. And maybe
and then you can release it on DVD, which it probably hasn't happened, has it?
It hasn't.
There you go.
If you go to, I think if you type it into Amazon, the last time I looked, it says date to be announced or confirmed or something. And it's been saying that for the last 5 years, so it won't be happening. You won't be.
But if you put it out on Twitter that you're doing the commentary and everything, and then people will pre-order it.
Oh, you see,
and that will force Amazon to put it out on
and
DVD.
That's how it works. Have you? Are you a fan of Scroobius Pip?
No.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm not a fan of his. I've never listened to him really. No, he's got a podcast as well, hasn't he?
He's got a podcast, and I think he's been on Adam's podcast, and Adam's been on his podcast. It gets a bit incestuous, all these podcast things. And I don't know much about Scroobius Pip. I'm going to start checking out his podcast this week, and I've just ordered his book. And I like one of his songs, Thou Shalt Not, I think it's called. His song is brilliant.
Oh, yes, I know.
That's a brilliant song. Really clever and really funny.
Clever. Yeah.
And I heard him on... I've just started listening to Six Music quite a lot.
Yes, me too. Fantastic.
It's good, and I keep finding these. I'm constantly Shazamming it because they keep playing these. There's a load of rubbish on there, but every now and then they'll play this brilliant song, and I go, "What the flipping heck is that?"
Yeah.
What band did I discover the other day? Jonah's Policewoman. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're brilliant. So I've discovered them, but Scroobius Pip was on. I want to say Mark and Lard, but it's not. Radcliffe and McConey.
McConey, yeah.
And he sounds just like such a nice, gentle, just like a really lovely soul. He looks terrifying.
Yeah.
But he sounds like such a lovely soul.
He did a review. He was on Steve Lamac's show on Six Music, and he did a review of a band called Fat White Family. Have you heard of them?
No, I've not heard of them, but it's a great band name.
Go and look out for them because my son is the drummer in that band.
Oh, fantastic!
And they got a really good review on Six Music. He hates it when I mention it. He hates it when I mention that I'm his mum because that's like the most embarrassing thing in the world. But anyway, so they got a really good review on Six Music, so that was fantastic.
From Scroobius Pip?
Scroobius Pip likes them, so
Oh, well, there you go then.
You'll have to go and listen out for Fat White Family.
I'm going to listen out for Fat White Family. Now, you say your boy's the drummer. At what stage of their career are they at?
Well, they've released stuff. They've got an album out called Songs for Our Mothers, and they're touring. He's always touring with them. I never see him.
Hang on a second. Is this them?
Yeah, that's Whitey's Boy on the Beat.
Hey, this is your boy's band. Let's have a listen. Yeah. Hang on a second. Sounds a bit Joy Division there. A little bit Joy Division-y.
Yeah, a bit Joy Division, bit Fall, I think.
Yeah. There we go. Now, in the video, that lad is... I hope that's not your boy standing that close to the cliff edge.
It's not. He's the one on the... when you see the band lined up, he's the one on the far right.
Okay, all right. Okay. It's a good video, but they really are putting themselves in. There's a fella on a man-made raft that in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, if you keep watching that video, they do some horrible things to him.
Here we go.
It's not nice. It's lucky this is radio and not
it's
video. So those two main guys are like the main band.
Oh, look at that! Oh God, this is a really horrible video.
I know, it's not nice, is it? It's not nice.
It's a little bit homoerotic as well.
As well later on.
Yeah, they've all got their heads shaved. Yeah, and they're all wearing camo, so they look like skins.
Yeah, no, they're not though. They're lovely boys.
I'm sure they'll listen to you. Mum, don't say we're lovely boys on the radio. We're mean. I quite like that. It's not really my cup of tea, but I quite like that.
Okay, there you go.
I quite like that. Oh, well, that's good. You listen, all they need is one hit record in America. One hit record, and they are sorted for the rest of their lives. That's it.
Absolutely. That's what I keep telling him.
Anyway, Scroobius Pip's coming on this show. I know there are some of his fans listening. He's coming on this show, and I'm going on his podcast at some point soon, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I'll listen out for that.
Oh, Jane, well, listen, I'm so glad that you found us.
Yes, well, I'm going to stick with you now. So you're on every night?
I'm on Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock. There's a podcast we do as well, and we kind of... some nights we have interviews with, we have obscure pop stars and pop stars from the 60s, and we have people like John Ronson on, and... we had John Ronson on really early on, and what we're doing as well... Because John Ronson was on really early on in the run, and a lot of people were downloading the podcast. So we're going to repackage all of the old interviews we've done with John Ronson, John Sebastian, and all these people, and we're going to put them out again. So keep checking the podcasts, because some of the old interviews that you've missed will pop up.
Oh, brilliant. Will do.
Hey, nice one, Jane. Thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Thank you again.
Take care. Bye-bye. Good luck to you, boy. There we go, you see, as I said. And the trend is true. Nina, you'll be next. This is, what lovely calls. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. New and newish callers, only, please, tonight. And the next caller is Nina. And I know we're only 3 calls in, but I think already we've had more female callers than we get most nights. And it's a really interesting, byproduct, I don't know, of these new and newish caller evenings that we get more women calling in. And I really wonder why that is. And I'm aware that we get a lot of blokes calling in, which is absolutely cool, man. I'm fine with that. And I'm often scratching my head as to how we can encourage more female callers, to call in. And it just seems to happen naturally, organically, when it's new and newish callers. And I wondered if any of you amateur, I nearly said psychopaths, psychologists out there and mind sleuths, there's a phrase, I'm copywriting that, if any of you amateur mind sleuths, that's a good one. Write that down and email it to me, please, Kath, because I'll forget that. That's going to be the title of my second book, Mind Sleuths. The Mind Sleuths. Actually, now I keep saying it's not that good, is it? But if anybody has got any ideas why it's mainly blokes calling this, I don't think it's a particularly laddish show. In fact, we'll veer into it sometimes. 0844 499 1000. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000. New and newish callers. So if you're a regular, thank you. You're welcome tomorrow. I appreciate your calls. I appreciate you listening. I really do. But just you don't have to pick up the phone tonight. Even if you hear me struggling. What's that brilliant scene in Young Frankenstein where Gene Wilder, just ordered Gene Wilder's autobiography for a penny. Gene Wilder, as Dr. Frankenstein, is about to go into the room with the monster, and he says to whoever it is, I can't remember if it's the woman in it or if it's who's the guy? The guy with the eyes. Marty Feldman. Might be Marty Feldman. I don't know who. And he says, I'm going to go in the room with the monster. Whatever you hear in there, do not open the door. And they say, yep, sure. And he goes in, and within seconds he's going, open the door! Let me out! And they're going, no. Oh, please! Please, open the door! So the point I'm trying to make is, if you hear me struggling and you're a regular caller, don't worry about it, I'll be fine. 0844 499 1000. Nina. Good evening, Nina.
Hi, hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Nina. How are you doing?
Hi.
You're right.
Okay. I've only phoned in once,
That's
so
all right.
I think
That's newish.
I've been bitten. Yeah, I've been listening. So
Well, that's good. What did you phone in for previously?
Well, this is my point. I think maybe with women, if you give a sort of loose topic, they're more likely to phone in, because that's what made me phone in last time. Because you actually said about female callers, so I thought, I've got a half interesting story, I think. So I rang in. But that's my reason.
But
otherwise, I wouldn't have done.
So hang on. The last time I just said we don't get many female callers.
Yeah, that's what made me ring in.
I wouldn't class that as a topic, though. I'd class that almost as a challenge.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's something that triggered me to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done.
It's a real interesting one. I'm going to take on board what you've said, Nina, and kind of kick it around and chew it around in my head. Because
but you don't want to plan it. I know exactly what you mean, because then it won't be the show it is. So I totally get that.
But I'm not at the moment. I can confide in you, can't I, Nina?
and that's another thing. I think you've got a lot of listeners.
No, I know.
The way they judge it, I just don't believe it. I think you've got a lot of listeners.
I know. Yeah, we probably have got more than the way they judge it registers. In fact, I know we have, because I know we got a lot online and we have a lot on Periscope, and we get 15,000 podcast downloads a day, which is great. But the way that the Suits judge listener figures, we ain't got that many.
Yeah.
And that is particularly, as there is a takeover taking place, the Suits don't get online and don't get Periscope and don't get podcasts. And you see this official figure and go, that's not very good. How much?
Sure.
Have we got James Whale's number on a scrap of paper somewhere? I can't remember the point I was trying to make. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. But, we're all kind of wondering, are our jobs safe here, guys?
Listener figures, we were saying, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not brilliant for this show. The station's 6 months old, and they're constantly on the up, so we'll see how it goes. But it would be... I'm just aware that we get maybe one, sometimes two women calling a night, right? And I don't want to, I'm deliberately trying not to make a big thing about it, because I don't want to go, well, today it's, women's special.
Women's night only, night. Ladies' night, yeah.
And we nearly did that, and then I kind of backed away from it. And as a one-off, there might be something in it, but I don't want to come in specifically with, and I'm going to say a phrase that is meaningless, specifically with women's issues. And I don't know what that means.
Period calls and all sorts, won't you?
Well, and if women want to call in about periods and stuff, then that's fine.
Don't.
But I don't want to do, and I don't. Tonight we're going to be talking about Peter Andre and how, and I know that's not what women,
exactly.
women, but I like to think
there's more substance to us than that.
Maybe I've got this wrong, Nina, but I like to think that generally men and women like to talk about the same things. Now, I know that there are exceptions. I know that and I'm painting with a very broad brushstroke here, that men kind of obsess over details and facts and figures more than women do. I've got books. I got a brilliant Beatles book, secondhand. I think Trish recommended it. Mm-hmm. It arrived today, and it's just a list of every song it's just a list of every song the Beatles recorded, when they recorded it, what instruments, and when they played it live. Beautiful. And
anal, but yeah.
Yeah, and I know that generally won't appeal to my girlfriends, my female friends. But I do think that a good conversation is a good conversation.
Sure. And it can go in any direction then, can't it?
Yeah. And this is what I was saying. We're talking about the low listener figures, which is fine. But it has got me wondering a lot, am I going in the right direction by trying to spearhead this new, this brave new path where we don't come in and talk about Muslims and talk about the bikini and talk about Jeremy Corbyn on the train, where we come in and don't talk about anything. I'm wondering whether at that path I'm treading, there is a reason that no one else has trod this path before.
Sure.
Because it don't
I think that they're too scared, a lot of them as well. DJ's too scared.
Yeah, I mean, it is a terrifying thing. Terrifying, that was stupid. No, it's a nerve-wracking thing to walk into a studio with, and I'm doing it now, I'm coming in with literally nothing.
There's no auto cue, is there? It's worse than TV.
Oh yeah, there's nothing, and I've got no bit of paper with notes written on now, which I stopped that this week. So,
Did you?
yeah. Anyway, what have you called in for, Nina? Sorry, you're not called in to deconstruct the show.
You might actually be able to help me with something, and this is the God's honest truth, because I was talking about it a few weeks ago. First of all, soya is a bean, so with the dog's nipples and flicking the bean and all that sort of thing.
Oh, now, come on, Nina!
Sorry,
I'd expect that kind of stuff from Nigel. So soya is a bean, and I guess you get the milk from crushing it, grinding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and same with the nuts. They sort of grind them up. You can get almond milk and rice.
You can't get nut milk. Steady.
Yeah, you can get macadamia milk, almond milk. Almond milk is really popular. Yeah, you get it at Tesco's.
Can you really?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't touch dairy and gluten and all
I'm going to go to Tesco and get some nut milk.
Oh no, you should get some coconut milk. That's the best.
That's not milk though. That's water.
No, that's water. This is the milk. This is like the pulped white of the coconut.
Really? That must cost a fortune though.
$1.25 for a litre in Tesco's. Tesco's do their own make.
It's actual. What? It's like a bottle of milk, but it's coconut.
Yeah.
Baby.
If you
This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Well, it's going to be a bit spooky if your dog does taste like that. Then you're not even going to Tesco's, are you?
You would drink your dog's nipple milk, wouldn't you?
Well, this is. I've got two things to say, really.
Yeah.
First of all, I've got 4 miniature schnauzers, and I used to breed them.
Yeah.
And I had one stud dog.
Yeah.
And he was lovely. He was as soppy as hell. He'd lay on his back, he'd go to sleep, and he'd tickle his tummy. And you just sat there on the settee, relaxing, the pair of you, and you just don't even realise you're doing it. Yeah. You just play with the nipples, don't you? They're just there, and
they're
you
lovely.
play with them.
Yeah, you do, and it's not sexual. It's just it's nice little knobbly things on that very smooth belly.
Yeah, it is. And if you were curious, I could see where you might start to think, well, my latte costs £3.50. I could be saving a lot of money here.
But the thing is,
never know. You might have a range in Tesco's one day.
And because people on Periscope are going, ooh, and Catherine and Ed were pulling faces. But we drink.
It's only what society sort of conditions you to, isn't it?
Thank you. We drink other animals' milk. What's so wrong?
Milk is vile.
I remember once one of the most popular phone-ins we did on LBC. I think it was LBC. Was can you milk a cat? We did a phone-in on it, and we had loads of people phoning in saying that I'm sure we had someone who had to milk a cat because the kitten wasn't suckling, so they had to milk the cat and feed it to the kitten. I'm sure we had that.
Well, it sounds terrible, but when the whole Findus thing about horse meat came out, I just thought, well, I'm not that offended because I don't like horses and I prefer cows. And I'd rather eat a horse than a cow because I think cows are really pretty, and I couldn't understand the whole fuss. But that's just me. But something else I picked up on, and I might have to email myself this idea if you think it might work. Yeah. You said about your dog how you have Ducky.
Ducky. It's a big, giant, soft. It's bigger than her, and she carries it around with her, and she humps it at the moment.
Yeah, we have Snakey, which is a draft excluder, but it's a snake. Now, 3 weeks ago, me and my mum were sat there, and she gets Snakey out, and she really struggles with it because it's not the right height. It ends up into shape, and she ends up just pumping the air. Yeah. And I said to my mum, "There's got to be a market for this." Oh. And we thought, what about something like, I don't know, Humpy Bumpy, and we thought, no, that wouldn't work. And then we came up with Happy Bump, and we thought, what about like a buckaroo thing that comes in 3 sizes, like wipeable plastic pink PVC,
like a blow up doll for dogs.
Yeah, but it solves all their frustrations. Yep. Would owners buy it, or is it flogging a dead horse? That's a bad term, isn't it? But
bad term.
Is there a space in this world for Happy Bump? For the poor animals that will never get neutered. And actually, if you get them neutered or spayed, whatever, it doesn't mean they won't do that. My dog has had everything taken away, and she still has a sex drive. Poor thing. So don't think that it won't happen in front of your neighbours, because it still might.
Nina, we'll put it out there, Happy Bump. If anyone thinks that would be a goer and would like to invest in her mucky dog company, then there you go. Thank you, Nina. Mate, I'm going to come to you after the news, if that's all right, mate, because I want to give you a fair crack of the whip. That's an hour down. I still haven't done the Simon & Garfunkel thing. Remind me to do that when we come back from 11 o'clock. It's just a thing I learnt about one of their albums, and I Googled it, and I couldn't find anything about it online. So I need your help. There'll be music fans out there who are better equipped to deal with that than me. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. It's new and newish callers, and you kind of know what that means. If you phoned a few times or you've not phoned me for years, tonight's the night. I'm Iain Lee. You're listening to Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
I'm watching Digital Spy. The thread on me implode up the arses of several people. It's very funny. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Verses and humongous choruses. That's what she does, Imani Coppola. That's what she does. I love it. Awkward verses where it's a bit, I can't really follow. Then just a humongous sing-along chorus. That's what she does brilliantly. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000. We are boldly treading a path that no other talk radio presenter is daring to tread at the moment, in that we are doing radio shows, and by me, I mean me and my team, Catherine the producer, and Ed. We are doing shows about nothing. About nothing. And it's hard work. It's hard work. It's not fighting in the army or building a wall, right? That's hard work, right? But it's harder work than doing what you could hear on LBC or 5 Live or BBC London. It's harder than that. I'm having to work harder. I could make this so much easier for me by coming in with talking about the poor souls that died on the beach, the situation in Italy, Jeremy Corbyn on a track. I could make it so much easier. But where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? So it's a show about nothing, and tonight we're making it even harder for ourselves by saying new and newish callers only. If you're a regular caller, if you call, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not tonight. Maybe we'll speak tomorrow or next week. Tonight it's new and newish. So if you've never called, boom. If you've called a few times, or maybe you called me 10 years ago at another place, then welcome. 0844 499 1000. What are we talking about? Well, milking dogs, animals' nipples. Here's the thing I want to ask you about Simon and Garfunkel, because I'll forget it, right? So I bought Q magazine, and I quite like Simon and Garfunkel. I think they're brilliant, actually. I think Paul Simon is a poet. And, I bought it because there's a review of that Beatles film, and I want to see what it says. It's not a review, it's an interview with Ron Howard, so it will say good things. Right. And then in Q magazine, there's, Matt Berry. Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. The reason I'm there about him is because I was out on an evening with a friend, and he was one of the group, and he didn't speak to me, but there's no reason to judge the man harshly. I'm sure he's very funny. He's also a musician as well, and releases these albums that get really good reviews. And he's listed 8 records that changed his life or something. And number 1 is a record that my mum had. And we grew up with this record, Simon and Garfunkel, the Simon and Garfunkel Collection. Not the greatest hits, the Simon and Garfunkel Collection. You may know the album cover. It's a picture of Simon and Garfunkel walking along a beach. Do you know this record, Kath? Have you seen it? It's them walking along a beach. Paul Simon's got his guitar strapped on his back, and Art Garfunkel is stood next to him, and they're walking along a beach, and it's a bit in the distance and a bit silhouetted. This is what Matt Berry says about this album, right? 0844 499 1000. My dad had this for his car. I won't do the voice. When I was 9. He doesn't really like music, so someone would have told him to get it, and it was a big old deal to me. This compilation was the first time I'd ever heard them, and apart from Bookends, I wouldn't necessarily say they're an albums group. I'd agree with that, but Bookends is a great album. It's got a weird song with old people talking in it about being old. It's wow. And the one with the Only Living Boy in New York, whatever album that is called. Anyway, I wouldn't necessarily say they're an albums group. For me, this is the best of ever. You only really need this. Now, here comes the startling fact about this record. And I have never... May, you'll be next. Nick, you'll be straight after. May, I promise. And May, you've been waiting for ages. I apologise. 0844 499 1000. Here is the startling revelation about this album, right? And I have never heard this before. Catherine, you need to hear this, because this will blow your mind. Matt Berry says, I love this album too, because they weren't talking when the collection was put together. So it's not them on the cover, but 2 sort of lookalikes. Now, is that true? It wouldn't be the first. We had Dean on from Jan and Dean last night, and there's an album where Jan was really, after the car crash, and they had Jan's brother on the front cover, and it wasn't really him. I love this too, because they weren't talking when the collection was put together, so it's not them. Oh, we lost May. Can we get May back, please? It's, but 2 sort of lookalikes on the cover. Really? Is that possible? Is that actually how it works? If anyone knows that, can you let me know? I'll go straight to May when you've got her. Straight to her, because I've kept her waiting for a long time. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. May, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
No,
Ian.
it's not all right, because I've been asking new and newish callers to call in. I know you're a newish caller, and I kept you waiting for nearly half an hour. So it's not all right. No.
Oh, sorry. Hip, 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 Ian.
Hip, mate.
How are you this evening?
Do you know what? I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you this evening?
I'm all right. Today I was listening actually to your old 2006 shows.
Oh, what was going on 10 years ago?
It was Presenterless show, and it was really good.
No one else thought so. Did it have the bit with the swears in it?
See, I'm not sure. I'm not really good at hearing the dump, knowing when you dumped something.
Well, no, you would have heard it. This is something that we tried on LBC and didn't work, and it bugs me for 10 years, and then we did it. We did it about 2 months ago here, and it worked perfectly. And at the end of it, basically, so I wasn't talking, and people would phone up and would talk to each other. The Guardian wrote about it before it happened, and then they reviewed it, and they said it, and it was a car crash. It was awful. But we did it here a couple of months ago, and it worked. And then my boss phoned up, David Lloyd phoned up and said, "This isn't working, you've got to go back on air." And I got all stroppy, but then I went back on air. And then this guy phoned up, and he said, "Ian, I just want to say you're a CCCCCC." The strongest word, right? And I dumped it. We have a dump button, and I dumped it. So it shouldn't have gone out on the air, right? And we thought, okay, that's fine. And then a few minutes later, May, loads of people phoned up and said, we heard that. That went out on the air. And the dump button hadn't worked properly. I think it had dumped it on DAB, but it had gone out on, like, FM normal radio. And it was, oh, God, it was an absolute nightmare. One of the worst evenings of my life. So thanks for reminding me about
Sorry
it.
about that.
Why can I ask? Why are you listening to the old shows?
So 10 years ago, I was 17, 18, and I was just like a poor uni student, and I was going through a really tough time.
Yeah.
And your shows just were a bit of a highlight of my day, and I travel all around the world now, and I go on holidays, and I've always got a piece of old LBC shows on my podcast just to dip into. So thank you for the joy that you've brought me.
Oh, mate, that's a delightful thing.
Yeah.
That's a delightful thing to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Lighter topic.
Yes.
I've never heard anyone speak about this before.
Yeah, go on.
And I've only talked about this with my husband. But a year ago, we took in a stray cat, a little female kitten.
Yeah.
And I'm totally new to cats, and I still don't really get her.
What do you mean you don't get her?
I don't. I understand dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's taken time for me to, I don't know, to grow to love her.
This is the thing, because I'm the complete. Isn't that funny? I'm the complete opposite. I'm a cat person, as you would know from the LBC days. I've still got that cat. She's still alive, and we got a dog a year ago, and I've not really taken to the dog. It's been weird. I've been in the house on my own the last 3 weeks. It's me and the dog, and it's just like she looks at me and stuff, and I don't really want. I've not taken to her, and I imagine the similar way you've not taken to your cat.
Yeah, I feel like she's an alien. She's alien inside, and I don't get it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm used to like the dogs being quite loyal and all over you. Whereas she's, totally standoffish. I just have to get used to it. But anyway, so she started showing signs of going on heat.
Oh.
And and it was obviously really awkward. She was showing her bum to my husband. And
wowzers!
And
okay.
I didn't know what to do, and I could even obviously see that she was distressed.
Yeah.
So being a good pet owner, I started reading up and Googling and YouTubing.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard of an acupressure point for cats on heat?
Oh God, I'm starting to get very worried about this. No, I've not heard, because my cat was done before I got her. No, I've not heard of an acupressure point for a cat on heat. I'm terrified, but I have to ask the question: where is this acupressure point for a cat on heat?
It's on the side of her anus. You might have to Google it. There are quite a few videos showing it. What you have to do is press on it.
You don't have
for a few seconds.
You don't have to. There's no law that says you have to.
Well, I basically finished off my cat. And this is the first time I've ever admitted it. And
this is how you repay me after years of entertaining you with this. Oh, someone's just tweeted before you said that. I bet Claire's regretting this tweet now. How nice is May, and how lovely, you mean a lot to her. And then she's done a smiley face. Do you want to take that back, Claire? Flipping it.
I'm really sorry.
No. Gosh, there's so much I want to ask.
For
so much.
A few hours afterwards, like she's calm and she doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
And I could imagine, you know, when you're like a rampant teenager.
Yeah.
And you're frisky and you need to get it out of your system.
Yes.
I just felt like I felt really sorry for her.
Yeah.
And I questioned myself whether I should have done it or not. She got to that stage over the night. She was clawing at my bedroom door and like howling. Yeah. And I eased her suffering, Ian.
Yeah, you eased us. It's the exact opposite of putting a cat to sleep. We ease the suffering of our animals by either putting them to sleep or, as you say, finishing them off. How long ago was it that you pressed that button? I'm trying to tread so carefully.
It was about a year ago.
Oh, okay. And did that?
No, I didn't want to ever do it again.
And there was no. Oh God, I'm treading carefully, all right. But there are some things. It was external, wasn't it?
It's external.
All right.
No,
It was external.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's fine. And did it? And that was it. That was finished. Then you didn't have to keep resetting it every day or something. It was done once you did that. Once it was done.
No. So it lasts only a few hours, and while she's on heat, she'll ask for it again.
Okay. Now, how many times did you press the reset button?
Only twice.
Oh, only twice. Fine.
Only twice.
Okay. Is that now? Listen, mate. You sound like a sensible young woman. Is that a common? Honestly, is that a common thing?
That's what I don't think it is, because I've never heard anyone talk about it in person. I'm sure people have done it before, because when a cat is on heat, they really keep you awake at night.
Yeah.
And then people must Google and see what else they can do.
Yeah. There are jobs, and I'm going to tread really carefully, right? But there are jobs on the farm that involve animals' genitals and, doing stuff to, farmers. So farmers have to deal with these situations on a much bigger scale, right? I'm talking about horses and pigs, right? Much bigger scale. We're not even going to go close, right? So you were doing a loving thing for your cat, and you don't even like the cat. May, have you had her done now?
Yeah.
Good.
She's been done.
Go for that. Did you mention it to the vet?
No.
I feel like you need to start like a survivors group or something, just so that you can sit in a circle with about 6 other people that have been through this and share. Not share the singer, she won't be there, although I don't know. The 70s were a wild time, but I mean just talk about your experiences and get it off your chest.
I feel like this is part of my therapy tonight, Ian.
Well, I will send you a bill for £75. May, thank you so much indeed. I look forward to speaking to you again. Wow. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Newish callers only, please. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000. Stacey, can you call again, please? We can't get through to you. So, Stacey, call again, please. Can't get through to you. Mike, I'm going to come to you in a second. First up, though, it's Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Hippity hip hip.
Hippity hip hip. Hip hip hip. It's being reported to me that Louis Theroux, and Andy has tweeted this, Louis Theroux has confessed to, quotes, over-fussing his cat too. So,
well, no lot you can say about that, is there?
There's not a lot you can say about that, but it would appear that, I don't want to say pleasuring, disarming, resetting an oversexed female cat is a thing. And I don't want to go, we don't want to, go to, but if it appears it's a thing. Isn't the world strange, Nick, about what we can and can't talk about in great detail? Because it's, we're just talking about bodies. We've all got bodies. Some of us have got bodies. No offence to those who are, don't. But we've all, the ghosts I'm talking about, but we've all got bodies. We all know what a winky looks like and a woo-woo looks like. And yet we can't go into the specifics of, over-fussing a cat.
Yeah, well, all I can say is every night is an education on this programme.
Well, yes.
Every night.
They should play this out in schools instead of history and biology. That's what they should do. What have you got for us, Nick?
Well, as I was saying to Kath, I've been listening to you for God knows how many years, and I thought it's about time I phoned in and actually spoke to you.
Yes.
I did see you at the film ring. I was there.
Did you come and say hello at the film ring?
No, I didn't.
Well, no. What's interesting, for everybody who came on Sunday to the live show that me and Kath did, thank you, and we're kind of working out what the next one's going to be. We had over 100 people turn up, right? And what was lovely, I spoke to so many people. I spoke to Triss, who's a regular caller, but I didn't know I was speaking to Triss, because he didn't say, oh, I'm Triss, and there's a lot of people. And always at those things, and I know it's difficult when there's lots of people, but always if I'm doing something, I am more than happy to stand around during the break or afterwards and say hello and shake hands and have pictures taken and any of that stuff. But there were lots of people there, and it was kind of a slightly small venue, so it may have been a bit tricky. But thank you to everyone who came. We will be doing more. Oh, and Nick, just quickly, I'm reminded, next Friday, so Friday the 2nd, everybody's invited to the show. We're going to be doing the show downstairs in, basically where Virgin is, in the room they use, this big room they use for sessions and stuff. You'll have to sit on the floor, and, it's not really kitted out for a big audience. You'll have to come and sit on the floor, and we may have to do it in shifts, but everyone is welcome. If you start turning up at about 10 to 10, don't come any early. We won't let you in until just before the show starts. About 10 to 10, and everybody is welcome. To stay for a little bit. You can stay for 10 minutes, half an hour, stay for the 3 hours. You can drop in at midnight for a bit if you want. It's all groovy, man. It's all groovy, but everyone can come and watch the show. Hopefully we're going to have a band doing a couple of songs. We're going to have a magician, and we'll take phone calls and stuff. So everybody's welcome is the point. Anyway.
Sounds like it would be good evening.
It might be. It might be an absolute car crash. Again, you never know with these things, and that's...
Bring donuts.
Bring donuts. We won't be providing any refreshments. You can't use our toilet facilities, and we're probably breaking loads of health and safety rules. Yeah, well, it's a rough street in South London. Just go and have a whittle on the neighbours' doors. Anyway, Nick, was there a reason for this call, or did you just phone up just to chew the fat with me?
Just sort of chewing the fat. I'm actually coming to see you at Luton. I got my tickets.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you, man.
Bringing my daughter along, who also approves of you.
How old is your daughter?
Too young for you.
Oh no, I'm not asking for that reason. I'm asking to protect her modesty.
She's 22.
Oh, okay, fine. Because there is. I did one show in. Has Coventry got a cathedral? It was Coventry then, I think it has.
Yeah, I think so.
And I did it there.
That one that was bombed, didn't I, in the war?
Yeah, it was Coventry. And someone brought their 13-year-old son. And I said, and I saw them before, and I said, look, I should let you know, this has got some quite intense swearing in it, this show. You know, and if you want to have your money back, I'll give you your money back. I just, and they were like, oh, we've brought him now, we might as well. And of course, the 13-year-old boy absolutely loved it, you know, was in hog heaven. But it has got some swear. Oh, but she's a grown woman. She can look after herself, Nick. And
absolutely.
22 is not too young for me. No, it is. Way too young.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming along and seeing you there.
Nice one, man.
I've been listening to you for years and years. I missed. I think when you finished with LBC, and I think you went on to Absolute.
Yeah.
That's when I sort of lost contact, as it were. But I can remember vividly. I used to work over in Tame in Oxford.
Oh yeah.
And I used to drive from, I think it was sort of on the Hertfordshire-Essex border across to Tame every day. God, what a journey. And I was doing that, I think it was one afternoon, and you were standing in for someone on the BBC.
Oh, yeah.
In an afternoon show.
Oh,
and you know that moment when you hear, maybe it's just me, you hear something on the radio, and it sort of takes you aback, and you look at your radio as if to say, you know, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And it was you, and I couldn't believe that it was you actually on the BBC.
That was on BBC. Well, that was BBC Berkshire, I think. So I was standing in for a bit, and I was standing in for a week, I think, and I did it. And then I was booked to stand. I was standing for 3 days, and then I was booked to stand in for a fortnight, and I bailed out of it. I couldn't do it because I found that soul destroying. But yeah, I was on the BBC for about 3 or 4 years on BBC local radio in the wilderness. And I'm glad I did it because I learned a heck of a lot. Taught me a lot. About presenting and about people management and about, people lying to your face. And, but I learned a lot. And I met Catherine, my producer, who I've dragged over here. So I was good.
Screaming.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it, but this feels like home. This feels like I've found the right place.
I think you're in your sort of your natural environment, as it were.
I think so. It feels like that.
But no, it's good. And I can remember on the LBC days when who was it, Agent Chris?
Agent Chris, my producer. Yeah, Adrian Crisp. Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of times when you just left him to it. Have you ever thought about leaving Kath to it?
Oh, I've done that before now, and I will do it again. Yeah, I just used to get bored and would just get up and walk out, and Chris would have to fill. The thing I've not done with Kath yet, but what I used to do with Chris was if we would run out of content, which was quite a lot, we'd just wrestle each other. I'd say, Chris, you fancy a fight? He'd go, yeah, go on then. And we'd do it. We'd have the microphones up and we would just wrestle. And it was a wrestle until someone pinned the other person's shoulders down for the count of 3. And sometimes it took a couple of minutes. We did one that went on for about 15 minutes. Kath saying she would destroy me, was she, heck? But we did one about 15 minutes. It was, terrible radio. We did some weird things there. Another thing, we had these, I think they were Polish cleaners, would come in and clean the studio while we were on air, right? And they obviously didn't know we were on air. But what I would do is I would sit there and I would do the show while they were hoovering. And then it got to the point where when they came in, I went, oh, all right, no worries. And I would get up and walk out and we'd have the microphones on and literally 15 minutes we'd broadcast on LBC. We'd broadcast 15 minutes of these Polish cleaners cleaning and chatting in Polish. And then they'd finish and I'd go, thanks very much. And then we'd pick up the show. Unbelievable. The stuff we got away with there, Nick. Nick, listen, come, if you're at the show in Luton, come and say hello.
Yeah, I will do.
Nice one.
When we came along to the London show, the Film Ring,
yeah,
we just pulled up, myself and my partner just pulled up in the car outside, and I think you and Kath were walking around to go and get a coffee or something.
Oh, I think we saw you. We said, didn't we wave to you?
Was me, and because I thought, there he is.
Yeah.
And I sort of pointed, and I think you saw me because you pointed back.
Yes, I did. Well, yeah, I never know how to react in those situations either. I freeze like a...
No, nor do I.
Well, Nick, listen, I appreciate you coming. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in Luton. Thank you, mate. 0844 499 1000. We've got Mike, who's in Nottingham. Then we've got Stacy, who's in the United States of America. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. It's new and newish callers this evening, and I've seen a couple of regulars have called in. Maybe you've not got the message. That's fine. thank you, but not tonight. We'll speak tomorrow, maybe we'll speak next week. It's all groovy, and this isn't any way a criticism of the regular callers that I get. I couldn't do the show if we didn't have the regular callers, so thank you. But tonight, just rest your phone fingers, rest your telephones in their cradles, and let some new people have a go. And I always, the first 20 minutes of these shows, when I do new and newish callers, no one phones in. No one ever phones in for the first 20 minutes. And I always think, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one where no one's going to call in for 3 hours. And I'm going to have to sit here and talk to myself and invite Kath in and talk to Kath. And then we're going to, we're going to play pin the tail on the Ed and all of that stuff. And you never disappoint me. You all rally round. So thank you. So I see I've got Stacy queued up. I've got Kieran queued up. If you give us a call, the way it works, you phone 0844 499 1000. You'll speak to Kath or Ed, and they will take your details and they'll call you back. Simple, isn't it? Let's go to Mike first. Evening, Mike.
Hiya.
Hello, Mike.
Sorry, carry on.
No, go on. I was saying, where are you? It's incredibly noisy.
I'm driving back to Nottingham from the Yorkshire Wolds.
The Yorkshire what?
Wolds.
The Wolds. Ah, the Wolds. What were you doing up there?
An in-law is not very well, so I was
I'm sorry.
My wife off. No, it's nothing too serious. But I'm incredibly tired, and I won't get in until 1:45.
Oh, man.
And even that thing, I've had so much caffeine.
Yeah.
It's not making me feel awake and just making me feel terrified.
Yeah.
And it's sheet rain, so I can hardly see anything.
Oh, man alive. Well, you've got an hour and 10 minutes to go. So you've... you've broken the back of it. Kath was telling me she fell asleep for a second on the way home last night, and that's all it takes, man, is a second. And I've done it, and there's nothing more terrifying than that thing when suddenly you wake up and you're driving the car. Man, it's happened to me a couple of times, literally a millisecond. But be careful, Mike. Be careful.
Sure, I'll be well. I won't fall asleep. I'm not falling asleep tired. I'm just kind of. Yeah. I'd like to just sit down and chill out, kind of tired.
Yeah, and that driving on the motorways is really boring. I mean, it's boring, isn't it? Especially the M1 is the worst motorway in the country just because it's straight. It's so straight.
You say that. The roads in the Yorkshire Wolds right now are terrifying. It's the kind of roads where mirrors become pointless. They're just an ornament. Yeah. And there's a lot of flooding on them as well. But I'm quite relieved to be on the M62. Okay. Is my motorway of choice. So you were talking about Matt Day before. Yeah. He's one of the few celebrities I've actually spent a modicum of time with. I went to see him on my birthday. And he bought me a pint. I thought it was really nice.
And I know, and I felt, as soon as I made that noise, I felt bad, because that's old me being critical for no reason whatsoever. Because I went out for a night with a friend and he was there and we didn't speak. Well, that's not worthy of a noise. So I kind of take that back, actually. That was a little bit mean-spirited, and I don't want to do that.
It might be horrible in real life. It was a really good duet.
So how come how come he ended up buying you a pint then?
You might have heard of this venue. Have you ever heard of the Adelphi in Hull?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have heard of the Adelphi in Hull. My sister used to live in Hull for a few years. So yeah.
Sounds nice to live there. But it's a tiny little venue. It gets about 100 people, and he's had some very, very famous bands. And it's an interesting venue. And the guy who owns it, he picks live bands who are very, very good live over commercial success. So he makes no money, and is apparently supported by, I think, Jarvis Cocker, the lead singer of Franz Ferdinand. To say if his PA goes, they buy the new one. That's what I heard. But it's a tiny little venue, 60, 100 people tops. So if someone performs there, it's kind of, if you don't want to mingle with people, it's kind of the wrong kind of venue to be at, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's nice. You were talking about time travel the other day. I had an idea for a time travel movie involving IS or Daesh.
Hang on a second. My time travel movie involves ISIS going back in time to Victorian times. Yours better not involve them going back there.
Well, I built on top of that. Not necessarily better. I just built on top of it.
All right.
Same thing. The Russians or whoever send a member, just one member of IS back in time.
Yeah.
But, as is often the case with time travel, it sends whoever goes back in time insane. It sends them mad.
Yeah.
But because whoever they're sending back is already mad, when they go back in time, their turning mad is technically going insane, and they realise they're part of a death cult.
Hang on a minute. I don't think, I'm not clinically trained, but I don't think if you're mad and you go madder, that makes you sane. I don't think it's like a circle and you go back round to zero again. But, well, okay, let's take that premise for the moment. Go on. So he goes back, he's mad, he's a member of ISIS, he's mad, and he goes back in time and it makes him so mad that he's not mad anymore. Okay.
So then he realises, blooming heck, I'm a member of a death cult. So then, whatever his initial mission was, he kind of forgets it.
Yeah.
And his mission becomes to make sure that IS never happens. But that's emotionally very taxing for him. So it's an emotional story of him having to kill people he ultimately loves and stopping all these people he's fond of never coming into existence.
Mine's better because it involves them running around with guns and explosives in Victorian times. That's the thing. So it's like Victorian bobbies blowing their whistles, and ISIS have got all of the modern tools. So how would the Victorian bobbies beat them? Spoiler alert: the Victorians would win. Spoiler alert! But it's yours is good, Mike, but I think mine is better.
Well, the only way to find out is if we both make these movies and then send it to the box office to decide.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm up for that, Mike. It's like when they made... thank you, Mike. That's brilliant. It's like when they made two... I was talking to you about this the other day, Kath. I'd say the other day. It was about a year ago. Two... Golem and Globus, who are these two Jewish filmmakers, and they made Canon films in the 80s, and they made like load of Chuck Norris films and stuff like that. And then they a lot of cocaine and a lot of, bribery and stuff. Then they split, and they both had the rights to Lambada. And they both made Lambada movies, except one had, if I got this right, one had the rights to the name Lambada, so they could call their film Lambada. And the other one had the rights to the song Lambada. So it wasn't called Lambada, it was called something like not Dirty Dancing, that's Dirty Dancing. It was called like I don't know, it was called Naughty Dance or something. It's a good name for a film, Naughty Dancing. The Forbidden Dance. But it was, I don't think it was called that. It might have been called The Forbidden Dance. But they had the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the other one was called Lambada, but it didn't have the Lambada song in it. It had kind of like a rip-off of the Lambada song. And one of them was really successful and one wasn't, and for the life of me I don't remember which. It's a good documentary. Anyway, 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee, this is Talk. Oh, yeah, people on the internet not getting the show. Ah, dearie me. Stacy's in the USA. Hey, Stacy.
Hi.
Now, there's a surprise. Normally when it's an American Stacy, it's a gentleman.
Oh, well, no, I'm female.
I got that. My ears picked that up. Now, America's quite a big place. Where exactly not exactly, I don't need the zip code, but where roughly are you in the United States?
I'm in San Diego.
Hey, San Diego, man alive. I've never been to San Diego. Or have I?
Really not. I think you have been, haven't you?
You're not my daughter, are you? No. Maybe I have. Is Microsoft in San Diego? No, that's in Seattle, isn't it?
No, that's in Seattle. You've not been out to L.A.?
I've been to L.A., but that's different to San Diego, isn't it?
It's only maybe 60 miles.
See, now 60 miles to an English person is like, flipping heck, that's a weekend. I'm trying to think. Maybe I have been to San Diego. I'm going to ask you a really geeky question that you being a young woman, you won't be able to answer. Was Atari based in San Diego?
I'm 53 years old. Yeah, they were.
Then I've been to San Diego, and I've been to San Diego. 53, gosh. I've been to San Diego, and I have been to the house of the guy that invented Pong and played his original Pong cab, and then we drove around where Atari used to be. So yes, I've been to San Diego, and I've got some great memories of it. Thanks for reminding me of them, Stacy. What have you called in for today?
Well, just to say hi. I used to ring in quite regularly when you were at Virgin, like in 2006, 2007.
Ah, yes, a lifetime ago. I do now. I vaguely remember. Yes, a lifetime ago. Well, what have you been doing for the last 10 years?
Nothing. I've retired. I'm just hanging out.
What do you mean, just hanging out? You must be doing retired at 53. Are you rich?
Yeah. No, I'm married.
Oh, you married a rich guy, huh?
No, a guy that works.
Listen to you living the life of luxury as a married woman in San Diego. So what do you now? Because a lot of people say that when they retire, or when you retire, you're gonna be bored. I can't think of anything better than not working. Are you having the time of your life?
I am having the time of my life.
Yep.
I don't even know how I fit in work before.
So what do you do with your time then? Because I would be watching DVDs, reading books, playing Halo Wars, and phoning up my mate Scott, but withholding my number and making bogus orders. What are you doing?
Well, see, I went to see Gabriella and Rodrigo at the Belly Up Club.
Hang on a second. Gabriella? No, I'm thinking of Gabrielle. Who are Gabriella and Rodrigo?
They're two Mexican guitarists. They're really, really good.
Oh, I don't know them.
And I got really, really drunk.
Yeah, there we go.
And stood up on the table and did the sprinkler dance.
The sprinkle dance?
And the sprinkler, where you act like you're a lawn sprinkler.
Oh, Ed is miming it to me. Gosh. Well, it's certainly, it's better than I thought it was going to be. So, wow.
And I got a black eye by hanging my head out the window, trying to sober up on the way home. Got hit in
I'm so glad I don't
bug.
And so you can't be doing that like every week though, can you?
Some weeks, more than once in a week.
Wowzers, you're living the dream. I was listening, on the way home last night, I was listening to Six Music, and there's a documentary about Atlantic Records. It's been going on for ages, this documentary, made in the 90s. And last night, it featured female singers, right? And I was reminded of the excellent Debbie Gibson, who wrote... what was the big Debbie Gibson hit? Not Only in Your Dreams, the other one. She wrote that when she was 13 years old. 13 years old.
I only know the one that she did, the Only in Your Dreams one.
It may have been that one, actually. I think it was Only in Your Dreams. She wrote that when she was 13. What a great song. And then they also featured, and I'd forgotten this group, On Vogue, right? They were quite... I didn't... On Vogue in the mid-90s, what was I, 23, 24, 25. So they weren't really my kind of sphere of music. Wasn't what I was listening to. A black girl group, sort of pop group, R&B pop group. Wasn't really what I was listening to. But then when they were singing on the thing, like, they were half good. Now, what I'm trying to get to, Stacey, is, are On Vogue still going? Have you seen them recently in America?
I have not seen them at all. I just assumed they were doing reality TV in the UK.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these these people ended up doing. These kind of 90s pop singers. I don't think En Vogue ever quite reached the. They were no Destiny's Child, were they?
No, they were not.
Hey, Stacey, me and Kath want to do this show in America, right? And it will be awesome. Not because we want to be rich, although we'd get millions of dollars for it, I'm sure. Do you have any contacts at radio stations in America that we can call so that we can get jobs there, please?
I'm sorry, I have none.
Oh.
I can be of no help to you whatsoever. Sorry.
In that case, I'm not interested.
I can take you out for a good time, but you don't drink anymore, so.
No, but I can watch you doing the sprinkle dance.
Oh, God. No, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. Oh, God, it's so humiliating.
What, you doing it?
Yes.
Hang on a minute. What do I need to type in to find it?
Oh, God, no, I will not tell you.
Just give. I will not. Okay, if you tell me, I won't. Then I definitely won't type it in because I might accidentally type in the right things.
Well, it was actually taped during the Rodrigo y Gabriela show at the Belly Up Club, and that's all I'm going to say. You might have to YouTube that.
There we go. Was it on the 15th of August?
Yes.
Yeah, I found it. All right. All right. Yeah, well, it's I don't know if this is.
Oh God.
Well, I don't know if this. There's quite a few videos. Let's see if this involves a drunk woman getting up on a table.
Oh, I'm dying. No, this is so humiliating.
No,
don't do this to me, Ian. I've been such a good girl for so long.
No, you've not. No, you've not. Okay, well, there's only one clip that I can find, but Solana Beach.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna. I can only see one clip, and it's not got anyone dancing. So you get off lightly, Stacey. You get off. Let's put dance.
Oh, there was a big sigh.
Okay, but I've got the whole day tomorrow to try and find it and then retweet it to my followers. Is that okay?
Don't you dare! I'll die.
Okay.
I almost didn't call in. I couldn't even bring myself to call in, and now I'm going to be tweeted all over the place. Don't you worry. Basically, Charles Matera. I'm a 53-year-old woman. I should have some decorum about me.
You should
I
have
children.
This is the gig. I mean, I've got the show here. Charles Matera has put it up on YouTube, but I can't find. Oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. There's a bit of tables here. Hang on.
Oh no! Oh God! No!
Okay, well, we'll find it, Stacey. Thank you very much. Why I yada. Thank you, Stacey. Kieran's on the line. Good evening, Kieran.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Kieran, what have you got for us?
Well, then, I've got a kind of social experiment.
Oh, yeah, go on.
And kind of that I would like to. I was thinking about the sugar babes and kind of pushing cats, and it all went a bit strange.
Have you ever pushed a cat? Call me now. 0844 499 1000. Can you believe? I know there's a thing with cats because I didn't do it, but I know that their anal glands can get blocked, right? Because I once had to, Kieran, I had to phone my vet up and say, this is really weird, right? But my cat stinks. And they went, oh, it's anal glands. Come in, we'll sort it out. And what they do is they put a finger up the cat's bum and they squeeze and this stuff comes out. But I'd never heard of the procedure that it had been described, fluffing the cat. I'd never heard of that before. But people on Twitter are saying it's an actual thing. And
I thought, Dan, that you were going to say, Dan, it's an actual job, as in people do that full time.
You phone. Well, as I'm finding out now, you can find people that will, when I went away for a couple of days, my dog went and stayed with this delightful elderly lady. Absolutely delightful. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were professional cat pushers.
Totally.
That would do it. I mean, I don't know, what do you do for a living, Kieran?
that I am an art teacher.
Well, you're an art teacher. Come on, art teaching can't pay that much, can it? A few extra quid on the side.
Absolutely not. That's why I sent off 4 application forms before I came on tonight.
For the cat pusher.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly, man. A couple of hours every night, or maybe 3-4 hours at the weekend.
Is it okay, Dan, if I put you down as a reference?
You put me down for anything you want, Kieran.
I'm not pushing you, but
no,
okay.
No.
Come on, mate.
Anything else?
Okay, yeah. And they're gonna dance at the social experiment.
Yes.
And have you ever heard of ASMR?
ASMR. I've heard of EDMR. Yeah. I don't know. Kieran, stay there, because if it's a social experiment, then that's going to need as a professional. Hang on a second. Hang on, bear with me. Mind sleuth. Thanks for the email, Kat. As a professional mind sleuth, I know that social experiments take a little bit of setting up, and I want to give you a fair crack of the whip, Kieran. So stay there. We'll come to you straight after the news, and we will hear. I hope it's good. Do you know what is we don't know what a social experiment is. It could be awful, but we'll find out. We'll hear it. Kieran, thank you. Damien. Oh, Damien's a first-time listener. Blimey. Thank you, Damien. We'll come to you as well, and then we've got Claire. New callers and newish callers this evening, and boy, oh boy, you're not letting me down. Thank you. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
Well, if you've just tuned into us, I don't really want to tell you what you've missed, because talking about milking dogs and pleasuring cats out of context, in context, sounds bizarre. So, anyway, this is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
I can see there's a Talk Radio listener page on Facebook. If you go on Facebook and type in Talk Radio listeners, you can go and join it. And they talk about this show and they talk about all the other shows, John Holmes and Howard Hughes and all of them. And I can see one or two people saying, they can't come next Friday because they've got bad legs and they can't sit on the floor. Listen, if you are disabled in any way and sitting on the floor is not accept, we'll find you a chair, right? If you need a chair to sit down on, right? Because you've got and this is like, if you, not just because you're lazy or you get a sore ass, but because you got a bad back or you've injured your leg or something. If you need a chair for that reason, we will probably be able to find you a chair. Okay, we'll be able to find a handful of chairs. I'm not expecting hundreds of people to turn up. I reckon about 50 will turn up, and by the end we'll have about 20 stragglers, and that's fine. Don't bring any booze. I don't want it to be. And if you're drunk or anything, you won't get in, because I don't want any of that So don't bring any booze. And if there is any argy-bargy that me, Kath, or Ed spot, you're out straight away. All right, and I know that the majority of the people would aid us in that situation. So if anyone comes in and there's any vibe that we don't like, whatever that may, and I know there won't. I'm just saying, I'm just laying the rules out now so that everybody knows. If there's any argy-bargy or vibe or anything, you're out, okay? And, you know, I just want to get that straight. But next Friday, 2nd of September, rock up about 9:45 and you can come and sit and watch us do the show if you want and take part in it. You know, you can people will call in, but I'm kind of, me and Kath did a talk at a primary school and they were 5-6 years old, I think, those kids, 5 and 6. And we were a little bit, I don't know how we're going to do this. And we came up with this fun kind of game where we faked a phone-in show. Who would do such a thing? Where I was hosting the show in this classroom and Kath was producing, and I would talk and ask a question. And if any of the children wanted to say something, come on the show, they put their hand up, they go to Kath, whisper their name and what they wanted to say, and then Kath would introduce them to me and they'd come and do their point. And I was thinking we could kind of do something like that as well. You know, we can do the phone-in show, but the people in who were there with us can join in the show as well and come on the air. You know, and if you know, much as you would phone in, you can kind of put your hand up. Yes, you come up here, and you come and sit down, and we give you a microphone, and you come on the show. You don't have to. There's no pressure. If you just want to come and sit and like Kilroy. There's no pressure. If you just want to come and sit and see how it's done, then you're more than welcome to it. Again, in the news and the breaks and stuff, if we're not busy, if you want pictures and all that, do all that, not a problem, okay? We'll do it during the show, you know. If you want to have a picture taken during the show, we can do that. It'll be like the Radio 1 Roadshow of the 1980s, and I'm Smiley Miley. New and newish callers only this evening, please. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. Yes, Kieran.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 man. Hey, hang on a minute. You deserve better than that. Hang on. You're going to get...
Hip, hip, hip.
You're going to get the future King of England saying
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
There you go, boss. What you got for us?
Okay, so...
Oh, yeah, we were talking... Yeah, sorry, the social experiment.
Yeah,
the social experiment.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that it might fall on its arse and... Okay. But, have you ever heard of ASMR?
Now, is that the thing where you watch something that's quite boring... And it's sort of like meditation.
Yes.
And you could be watching someone whispering or someone knitting or something. Is that what it? Yeah. Okay, right. I am aware of it, and I've got a friend who has used it. I've never used it.
I see. Only because of, and I would like to use it only because of I am quite an anxious person sometimes, and then it's meant to chill, and then it's meant to kind of relax you.
Yeah.
But I can't trick my brain.
You can't trick your brain?
No, okay. I can't do it.
Oh.
And then a perfect example is that obviously I have a stutter, and I used to go to work in the speech therapy.
Yeah.
And the speech therapist, and they used to make up tapes, and then it was very ASMR. And where he would whisper, and he would say very, very tranquil and the kind of relaxing things.
Yeah.
And then the dance, you've just got to you've just got to relax, Kieran, and everything will flow. Yeah. And it doesn't work.
Oh,
I can't trick my brain because of all of the time and the kind of I'm saying and the kind of it is a kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but Dan, I was thinking about your kind of listenership and how it's actually quite and they're kind of diverse.
Yeah, that's an well delicately put. Well done. Yes, they are diverse.
Yeah. And I didn't want to insult anyone. So then I just thought that as we've got such a kind of wide and the kind of pool of the kind of people, and the kind of maybe they could try it out and they can tomorrow, and then they can phone in. And then they're going to tell you if it works or not.
So the AMSR,
we can do it.
You can sorry to interrupt you. You can get these. There's loads of videos on YouTube, aren't there?
Yes.
What? Let's get one up. Hang on a second. Let's.
It is mostly and the kind of Eastern European ladies, and they're kind of talk, and they're kind of talking almost like in a role play scenario, as if they're down to their cutting your hair, or maybe down to they're going shopping with you, and it's all very weird. But yeah, like if you,
well, look, there's one here, right? ASMR, 10 hours of tapping, crinkle, and trigger sounds. No talking, just sounds. Here we go. Okay. AMSR, relaxation whispering. Here we go. Let's have a little listen.
Let's suppose that you're...
That's an advert. We'll skip this in 3, 2, 1. Skip ad. Here we go. Right. Here we go. This is all just keep quiet for a bit. Let's just see if this works. Gentle whispering. Okay. Here we go.
Hello. I decided to make a nice relaxation video for you. And I will try to include some of the most requested things as of lately. And I'll put the directory below so you can follow it if you wish. Also, I would like to test out my new binaural microphone. And this one was created and made by one of my friends. So, thank you, my friend. And I would really like to know your opinion on this one.
Wowzers. That video, right, it's 25 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
That's had just shy of 6 million views.
Yes.
And the YouTube channel, if you want to find her, is Gentle Whispering. And she was showing us there, you may not be able to hear what she was saying, but she's got a stereo microphone. So she was whispering in one ear, and whispering. And then, the comments, Gabby says, "You're the first person to actually give me tingles. I love you so much right now. Can't tell you how many times I fall asleep while watching these videos and wake up practically tangled in headphone cords. What if the whole time..." Someone's put... What if the whole time she was doing this to a dead body?
Yeah.
God.
And that it's all about the tingles, apparently, that it's meant to tingle in the kind of your brain and then the kind of down your spine.
Hang on a minute. There's got to be... Hang on a minute, Kieran. Shh. Hang on a second. I'll fix your stutter. Hang on.
Thank you, fella.
I'm going to fix it. Don't worry. You got to be quiet, though. You got to be quiet. You got to focus. Okay. You got to take this seriously, man. Don't mess around. Otherwise, stutter's going to get worse, right? So focus.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry,
focus him.
Yes. Right. Yes. Thank you.
Shut up, man. I was about to do it then.
Okay.
Shut up then.
Okay.
I'm getting stressed. I'm getting stressed now. Now you're...
Just press the button, Ian. Press the button.
I'll punch you in a minute.
The stutter's going, actually.
And anything, he's getting angry and the stutter's gone.
Don't you fix me?
I'm going to give you a wallop in the face, you idiot.
Okay, go on.
Hey, we fixed it, though. It's the opposite. Instead of whispering and relaxation,
it's shouting.
It's bullying. We need to bully you lazy stutterers.
It's aggression. Yeah, that's it. Just be aggressive to us.
It's what?
Blimey. I'm Kieran. This is incredible.
Is this the best you've ever spoken, or are you stuttering a bit because you're on the phone to me and you're a bit nervous?
A bit of
Answer the question, Kieran!
What was the question again?
The question was, do you normally stutter like this, or is it made worse because you're on the phone to me?
It's because I am on the phone to you. Oh, no, that it's kind of wearing off now.
It's wearing off now. Okay, so my technique works, but it doesn't last very long. That's still a breakthrough.
No.
Okay, let's just... Hang on a second. Hang on. Well, Kieran, I'm going to be whispering in your ear tonight. What was that?
Nothing, Dan. It wasn't me laughing.
I thought you just pushed a cat. Well, Kieran,
maybe.
Stop. Take it seriously, man. Right?
Okay. Go on. Go for it.
Well, tonight I'm going to be whispering in your ear, Kieran, and I really want you to focus on the words that I'm saying, because I don't want you to have to be stressed anymore, and I want the stutter to go. How are you feeling, Kieran?
a bit creeped out, to be honest.
But it's it's working. It's the
working.
combination. This is what we need to do, right? And I haven't got time to do it
go
tonight. But if anyone wants to pay me a research budget, I think it's the flipping between the shouting and the bullying, and then the soft whispering.
It's extremes.
What it is, Kieran, and I've already developed a theory. It's confusing the brain out of the stutter. The stutter is there because of the nerves and anxiety and something that may have traumatic happened to you as a younger child. By confusing the brain, the front and the rear spheres, the left and the right, you can twist them around and they can swap over, and then the stutter is gone, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Kieran, thank you very much indeed. That video is freaky, man. Thank you, Kieran. You're a good sport. 0844 499 1000. Damien, then Claire. Hello, Damien. It says you're a first-time listener.
Yeah, I'm driving a company vehicle today, which has a fancy DAB radio. And I was flicking through the station list, and I accidentally clicked on Talk Radio.
Yep.
And I've been listening ever since for the last 2.5 hours. I love it. I discovered it by accident.
Well, as most of our people do, because the company refuses to spend any money on advertising. So,
the embarrassing thing is that I work for the company who look after all of the DAB and TV transmitters in the country.
Oh, really?
So I really should know about you guys. But,
Nah, listen, they spent money on, I think, 3 posters across the country, and that was it. Oh, well, Damien, bless you for sticking with it, because I know a lot of people might hear, us talking about pleasure and cats and milking dogs, and instantly switch over, but you stuck with it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm normally a music radio kind of person. It's not often that I listen to talk radio. Well, I don't mean talk radio as in talk radio.
Speech-based radio.
Yeah. And when I heard you talking about that after 10 o'clock, I just thought it was the most brilliant thing I'd heard on the radio for a long time. And I've just really enjoyed the show so far.
Oh, but bless you. What would you normally be listening? And this isn't just to diss any other radio stations, but I'm a fan of speech-based radio. I don't really listen, Damien, to music radio, although I've just started to get into 6 Music, but I don't really listen to music radio. I like to hear, documentaries and phone-ins and things like that. So what would you normally be listening to?
I listen to quite a lot of local commercial radio.
Oh, okay.
I used to be a commercial radio presenter as well in my town. So I'm a little bit of a radio anarch, if you like. But I normally listen to adult AC, that kind of music, pop music, stuff like that on radio.
Yeah.
But you just get bored of hearing 5 or 6 songs in a row, so I just wanted to hear some speech, some human beings.
The problem that I have with local music radio is there ain't really any local music radio anymore. It's all someone proved me wrong, but they're all owned by the same company, so it's all like Heart, and every Heart station could be based anywhere, there's very little local content. Whereas before, 20 years ago, God, I'm an old fart, but 20 years ago, you would have FM 103 in Horizon, and you'd have these little stations that kind of had a common theme, and some of the output was a bit laughable, but they were proper local radio stations where you'd get local content and you'd get local presenters, and some were naff and rubbish, and some were people like Chris Moyles, and you don't get that anymore. Everything sounds the same now.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to stop doing radio, because a lot of it became networked, so I just ended up having to go and get a normal job. But I ended up working. I work in broadcasting anyway now.
So hang on. So I missed a bit. What were you? Were you a presenter?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was a presenter on my local radio station.
Oh man, alive! What slot did you do?
Well, I used to do the evening show during the week live, and I did a Sunday morning breakfast show as well, and then cover now and then. So
now you didn't say that the Sunday morning breakfast show was live. Was that pre-recorded?
Oh no, that was live as well. Okay. Yeah.
And whereabouts were you based?
I'm in Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. All right. We have Louise, who posts on the Talk Radio listeners page, is from Barnsley.
She may well have listened to me a few years ago.
What was the station you were on?
It was Burn FM in Barnsley.
Yeah, you see, proper. And no, it is proper. And I miss local radio. I'd say some of it was rubbish and some of it was great, but more importantly, it was a proper outlet where young people who were interested in radio could go and they could do, I started out, I mentioned FM 103 Horizon because that's where I started out years and years ago, about 1997 I think it was, and I was Iain in Black Thunder, so I would go out during the breakfast show in this black Jeep and I would do reports out and about, and I got to host a couple of shows. I got to host a show on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, right? Because no one else wanted the shift, let's be honest. And I didn't particularly like it, and luckily enough I left and I walked into a TV job. But where now would a 23-year-old boy, 24-year-old boy be given a 4-hour radio show? That would never happen now.
No.
And it was awful, and I did it. It was awful. I've got a tape of it, and it was absolutely awful. But
when I started, I used to do a 1-hour recorded 90s show on a Saturday night, which used to take me 2 hours to record.
Yeah.
The guy just liked it so much. I ended up getting cover, and then I got my own show. And it kind of happened like that, really. So. But I mean, there's community radio nowadays where people can, I guess people can get on air and. Yeah,
and there's lots of, it's a phrase I don't like, but lots of pop-up radio stations where they'll get a license for a month or something.
Yeah.
And they get, and also as well, with the internet, all you need is a computer and a half decent microphone, and you can make your own podcasts and still or stream stuff like that. But there is, I do think it's to our detriment, and I think we will notice it in 10, 15, 20 years time when, when I'll have got the boot and stuff. There won't have been people that will have served their apprenticeship doing stuff. But here's the thing, BBC Local Radio won't be here in 20 years time. If it is, it will be completely different and a lot smaller. So there's nowhere for young people to go and learn how to do it and to make their mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing that I wanted to speak to you about, and this may sound really bizarre, that really caught my interest actually is when you were talking about milking a dog.
Oh, yes.
Now, it doesn't interest me in a weird way, by the way. I just want to make that clear.
All right, mate.
But it interested me because I remember a couple of years ago, if you look on the internet, you'll be able to find it, The Sun published an article about a boy in India. I believe he was about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he was starving, and he managed to survive by drinking the milk from a pack of dogs, wild dogs. If you have a look on the internet, you'll find it, because while I was on hold, I found it. And he survived, and apparently...
Kath, my producer, is nodding, going, yeah, that's true, that happened.
Yeah, you can do it, and it tastes really sweet. It's kind of a sugary sweet, apparently, so you can do it.
And the thing is, when I mentioned it, Damien, everyone starts rolling up their nose and pulling faces and holding their heads in their hands. That Indian lad would be dead if it wasn't for him suckling on a dog.
Exactly.
And no one's calling him a pervert. Or I bet his friends are behind his back when he rocked up. So, flipping it, how did you survive? You did what? Oh yeah, sure, mate. That's not weird. Whatever. And then when he comes back the next day. He goes off. They go, flipping it. I can't believe that Wahid was sucking on a dog's teat.
But it is a good point. We drink certain animals' milk, but not the other animals' milk. Why? I can't seem to find out the answer to that.
No, and I can't. Cows and goats and milk, and the cows and goats and sheep, and the soya bean. Turns out you can get almond milk. Well, that sounds messed up.
Yeah.
But I want to milk my dog and drink its sweet nectar. Yeah. Oh, you're a pervert. That's what you get, Damien. I'm not a pervert. I'm actually a trailblazer. You watch next year. There's a story in one of the papers, right? There's a woman, and her job. She's employed by one of the big supermarkets, and her job is to watch Bake Off, right? The Great British Bake Off. And if there's any unusual ingredients, right, that they use, she then goes to, let's say it's Tesco, phones up Tesco and says, right, they're using this ingredient, order a shed load of it because it's going to be big this summer, right? Yeah. Well, she should be listening to this show because you mark my words, dog's milk is going to be huge. It's going to be the must-have drink. Dog's milk.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, Damien. Dog's milk.
The thing is, just one more point. If you had, I don't know if people have pet cows. If you had a pet cow and you drank its milk, that would be completely normal.
Yeah.
So why can you not drink dog's milk?
Hang on a minute. Sorry, did you say people have pet cows?
No, I'm just saying, do people have pet cows?
I remember once being in a vet years and years ago when we had a dog, years ago, and someone brought a sheep in on a lead. So that's kind of pet-ish.
Yeah.
Here's the thing in the vets, right? How come the dogs... Oh, yeah, dog's allowed to wander around. Bring the dog into the vet. Yeah, your dog, always a dog. But the cats have to sit in those little carry cases, the little boxes.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't seem fair to me. Why can't the cats stroll around?
I have no idea. I can't answer that.
Well, Damien, that's your project this evening, is to go away and think about it. Thank you. 0844 499 1000. Claire, you'll be up next. If anybody has experience of those, what are they? AMSRs? Is that ASMR videos? Then do let me know. What is it supposed to do? I'm guessing. I used to be a hypnotist. True story. I used to be a stage hypnotist. And the way you hypnotise someone is you're kind of distracting one part of their brain, so the other part of the brain sort of goes to sleep, and you're tricking the brain. And I'm guessing that's what the ASMR videos are doing. It's kind of it's tricking one part of your brain into coming forward, and the other part of the brain that would normally be thinking and acting and working relaxes. Oh. Claire! Good evening, Claire.
Hello.
Hello, Claire. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. I do apologise. We've had way more calls than I was expecting this evening, so thank you for your patience.
Not at all.
What have you got for us, Claire?
What have I got for you? It's what you've had for me. So you asked for people to ring in if you've never called in before.
Yeah.
So now I think I've almost got a stutter after hearing that video.
Well, I know how to cure it. I've got to shout at you. And we can cure stutters now. That's fine. That's easy.
No, that was bizarre. So, and I only started listening when May was talking and being all lovely to you, and then just went bizarrely on a tangent.
Yes, May. Let's be honest, guys. The show was pretty highbrow until May came on and dragged us into the gutter by talking about how she finished off her cat.
I thought she was so lovely to you, going, oh, but Lee, you've just been getting me through my student years and all this, and then she just went off on something weird.
Absolute filth. And I should say, mate, we have passed your details on to the RSPCA and also the police, because that call was messed up.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit messed up. But still, you know, this is the joy of doing a show late at night, is where else, you know, what other time of the day would you get a seemingly sweet-sounding young lady phoning up talking about finishing her cat off? And if you've just tuned in and you don't know what we're talking about, I ain't telling you, guys. You should have been here a couple of hours ago.
They missed it.
They missed it. Probably for the best that they missed it. Anyway.
You see, and I blame Adam Buxton, so that's why I started listening into your show, because I listened to your podcast that you did with him.
Oh, all right, another one from Adam. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll listen, because you were talking very highly about your nighttime listeners, about how it's a different kind of experience. Yes. I thought I was listening, and by God.
Oh, are you saying tonight is the first night you've ever listened?
Properly, yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Sorry.
No, you were right. No, you weren't wrong. So,
what would you normally be doing at the kind of this time of the night? Are you a radio fan, or are you a reader? You watch telly? I say reader as though that's exclusive. That's the only thing you can be. But what would you normally be doing?
Now I would normally be asleep hours ago.
There we go.
There you go. You're welcome.
That's a victory to us.
And like your previous listener, I've been involved in community radio locally as well. So I do like
now, explain exactly what community radio is, because it means different things to different people. So, what was it you were doing?
Well, it's just, it's all voluntary people coming along and doing their little shows, whatever they want to do. If they've got a particular music style that they want to do, or they're kind of given free rein. It's quite nice. And you said that there's nobody that gets a chance now to kind of learn their craft or anything, but on the community stations they still are. Like, there's 16-year-old girl been given her show, and it's quite nice.
And I'm going to ask a question that might sound rude, and I don't mean it to. I mean it just in a practical sense. Do people listen?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good answer.
Thing, isn't it?
Yeah, good answer.
But as you're saying, if you're learning your craft,
yeah,
and you want that experience, it still is out there.
That's an excellent answer, Claire, and I appreciate that. But there aren't that many of them, are there?
No, there's not that many. And as you say, all of the kind of local stations are owned by a bigger corporation. They all do sound the same then, don't they? I completely agree with that. The local kind of thing is gone.
And here's the thing, I never wanted to be on radio. It was always telly. Telly was always the thing I was going to do. When I did this thing in Milton Keynes, I did it and I hated it, to be honest. And I worked with some really good people, some really lovely people. But I hated it. And after 6 months, I said, do you know what? This isn't for me. And I left, and luckily I walked into a TV job. And that was okay for a while, and I never really wanted to do radio, but by necessity, when the TV work dried up and I got offered radio, I had no other choice. I thought, flipping out, I might as well do it, but I don't want to. But I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it because, I genuinely prefer doing this. I did a TV show for Channel 5 at the weekend, right? And I haven't done a live TV show for years and years and years. And I loved it, and it was great, and I had a lot of fun, and I'd love to do it again, and it pays a lot more than radio. But I genuinely get more satisfaction out of doing this and trying to do something a bit different than I do standing in front of a TV camera and reading an auto cue, you know? I'm lucky that I kind of fell into it. I'm lucky that the TV work dried up when it did. I'm lucky that LBC, after 9 months of me not working, and I was skint, man, because I was spending like I was still working. LBC offered me a job, and it turns out I was quite good at it, you know, after a bit of coaching and fashion. So I love it. Radio for me is where the power is, man, because it's instant, you know. And if tonight doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because we'll come back tomorrow, and tomorrow probably will work, you know. And if Kath has an idea, we can do it now. Or if I have an idea, we can do it now. And if, you know, it's kind of the immediacy of radio that you don't get with TV.
No, of course. Yeah, of course. Because then it's only like months later or anything that it's actually going to get out there, and you're going to start getting the feedback.
Yeah.
Whereas, as you say, you've got this now. And what I love as well is when you're listening to stations from other countries, like in Ireland, they're so lax about language. So that's probably why you love the whole late night thing.
Does Ireland, are they allowed to swear on Irish radio?
A little bit, yeah, way more than here.
Because we're not. The Talk is a little bit, is certainly the loosest station in terms of language that I've ever worked on. And we were speaking once to Andy Goldstein, who's in Talk Sport, which is kind of next door to us. And he was saying he would let the S word out. And I think we've let it out once or twice, but generally we dump it. The rules on swearing on radio in this country are really strict. They're a little bit looser for this because it's a late night show, and because, you know, we talk about, I don't know, contentious issues. I don't even know if that's true, actually. But, Ofcom, I've never had an Ofcom upheld because they know me. Ofcom are really fair, and they listen to the show and they get it. Yeah. But the rules on swearing are still much, much stricter than TV. You know, we couldn't let an F-bomb go, an S possibly, but it's kind of, it's quite strict, which I think is sort of right, really, because, we get kids listening. A, we get kids listening from around the world, but B, we also get naughty kids listening in bed. And, I don't think there's any need for swearing on the radio, really. And I've done it occasionally, and I sometimes pull people up when they do, and it's just to score points quite often. But I don't think there's. It makes you work harder. I think not having swearing makes you work harder.
It does, but have you ever had a conversation with an Irish person and there's lots of language, fruity language that's just been dropped in, but you don't kind of pick up on half of it because it's in context and it's said in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of language that it is there then when you're listening to their radio. It's just dropped in, so you don't... it's not for effect. It's not for kind of reaction or anything. It's just part of the language.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little listen to the potty-mouthed Irish presenters. I know it's time. It's time for effing ABBA. It's effing ABBA. What a pile of double... I can't do it, but...
No, you can't do it. But no, they'll say feck a lot. Are you allowed to say feck?
Feck. Oh, feck. Yeah, you can. And that's the weird thing. You can say feck. But we all know what feck means.
Yeah, of course we do. But that's why people say it over there, because it was like when you had a religious parent, you would never say the other word, but you'd get away with a feck. You might still get a hit on the head.
I always think it's weird as well that we say the C word, because now I've said the C word, that word's in your head. The actual word is in your head. So by saying the C word, it's kind of the same as actually saying the C word.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing the C word.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it? Language is weird. It's really weird. They did it in Battlestar Galactica, the remake of a few years ago. They did it brilliantly with the word frack. Now, frack obviously means to dig under people's homes and get oil, but they would say frack, and it was like a prime time show, and you would get these people would get angry, and go, oh, fracking hell, and I'm gonna fracking kill you, and we all knew, and basically in this alternate universe of Battlestar Galactica, frack was their F word. And it was beautiful, because you would get these people really angry, and they'd say, I'm going to fracking kill you. And you knew what they meant, but you could let your kids watch it. You know?
Yeah.
Really clever, I thought.
It would be like Al in Home and Away. Was it Al? Was that his name?
You flaming galah.
Yeah, exactly. You knew what you meant. Flaming.
Claire, listen, it's really nice to talk to you. I've got to move on. I've got Tia coming up next, and maybe you, if you want to give us a call, 0844 499 1000. This is Talk Radio. Well, dear listener, it was only 15 minutes to go, and it looks like we made it once again. Tia!
Who's Tia?
Who are you?
Tia.
Tia?
Not Tia. Thea.
Tia.
Tia. What?
Thea. But Tia's a name, isn't it? I've never heard the name. Is Thea a name? Well, obviously it is.
For Dorothea.
For Dorothea?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Well, I apologise, Thea, for getting your...
Right. Ian.
Yes.
I love you.
Oh. Uh-oh.
My mum, who died on Sunday, she also loved you too.
Oh, Thea, I'm sorry to hear that. Bless your.
I don't want to bring the tone down.
No. Bless your delightful mum. I'm sorry for your loss.
At all.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I saw her in the mortuary today, and it's all fine. There's nothing to be worried about, honestly.
Well, I'm glad that you. I'm glad you feel that way at the moment.
But no, we both followed your career for a long time, and I just think you're a great broadcaster.
What was? Can I ask what Mum's name is?
Joan.
Joan. Oh, Joan was my nan's name. Joan's a proper name, isn't it? It's a proper name.
And how's your mum these days?
She is. She's all right. She was very ill, and then they fixed her, but she's all right. Do you know, I saw her last week for the first time in absolutely ages, because I find it really upsetting going to see her. Because she's just so physically weakened, and mentally she's not. I mean, she's there.
Yeah.
But she's not as there as I would like her to be. And it's not my mum. When I go and visit her, it's not really my mum, it's the disease that I'm visiting, and that upsets me quite a lot.
No, she has MS, doesn't she?
She's got it, and she's got it really bad. I've never seen anyone with MS as bad as that, and I've seen a lot of people with it. And, I should take the boys to see her next week.
It's tough though, Ian.
Yeah, she's not great.
It's not great, and I know you love your mum dearly, but you're so serious tonight. You're so.
Hang on a minute, serious? We've been talking about milking dogs.
Uneasy.
Yeah, we've been talking about milking dogs.
Oh, that's true.
So that's not that serious.
That's quite tame for you.
I'm old now. I'm old, and I have been tamed by getting the sack from everywhere. And I wanted to call this show Iain Lee's Last Chance Saloon, and they poo-pooed that. But you know, I'm older and a bit more gentle, I think.
Okay.
But, you know.
And that's good. We all mellow, don't we? We all mellow.
Well, some people.
You know, I never talked to you on the 11 o'clock show at all.
No, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people
I thought,
didn't.
who is this twerp?
Yeah.
But you know what? I've grown to really, you know, you're quite an integral part of my life.
Well,
I'm not being funny. That sounds a bit creepy.
No. It sounds delightful, and I get it because radio is important to a lot of people. The 11 o'clock
and radio
show.
I love.
The 11 o'clock
and the
show
fact
wasn't
that
me.
my mum, you know, has gone so recently.
Yeah.
It just felt right to phone you tonight when I tuned into Periscope and you said first time callers, or I've only called you once on LBC. I thought, go for it.
Did I?
He's all right.
Did I ever speak to Joan?
You never spoke to Joan.
Oh, okay. What did we talk about when you called me on LBC?
Well, I think you were pushing. It was before you were married, and I think you were pushing some pictures up in your flat.
Oh right, really? Okay.
You sort of hinted that you were with somebody, but it was before you married, and maybe I was a bit jealous.
Oh, here we go.
I said, you need some help to put those pictures up, and you said, I've got help, thank you.
I've got help, thank you very much.
That put me in my place.
There you
I'm
go.
so delighted that you're married, and you've got kids, and it's great.
Well,
I love that.
It's, you know, it's funny, isn't it? It feels like just a few days ago I was messing around with my mates and getting drunk, and now I'm a dad, and I've got two gorgeous little boys who I've not seen for 3 weeks, and I get to see them on Saturday because they come back from holiday, and they shall go nuts when they see me at the airport, and I'm very excited about that.
Have they been to Greece?
They've been to Greece, and I couldn't go because I was doing this, and then the week off I was doing some other stuff, and so I've missed my boys terribly.
I saw you on 5 thing on Saturday on 5. I thought you were great.
That was all right, wasn't it? That was a bit of fun.
Oh yeah.
Gabby is the most delightful person in the world. I don't think I've met Gabby before. I might have met her once briefly, but within minutes of meeting her, I was telling her all kinds of secrets. It's like she's one of those people where she just picks up on something and she asks me a question. And normally I would gloss over it, but I went straight and told her everything, and she was, it's like you've known her for years.
Yes.
Lovely.
Can I tell you just a funny story about Gabby Roslin?
Oh yeah, go on.
Well, when I was with my mum and dad.
Yeah.
My dad passed away a couple of years ago. We were at a race course. I think we were at one of the race courses in Surrey anyway. And we got to a charity race thing, and my niece was with me, Abby, and she's called Abby.
Yeah.
And my dad called out, Abby went running off. She was about 5 at the time. No, younger than that. And my dad called out, Abby, come here. And Gabby was there because it was a celebrity sort of charity event.
Yeah.
And Gabby turned round and said to my dad, I guess thinking that my dad had recognised her, oh, yes. And he said, not you. And we often tell that story in the family, and I hope if you ever see her again, could you just say that if ever she remembers, I don't know, about 15 years ago, this not so elderly man, but this rather gruff man saying,
gruff
not
man
you.
shouting at her at a race course. Oh, that's a lovely story.
He didn't mean anything by it.
No, of course not.
But is your mum at home, or is she?
She is in a care home.
Yeah.
Where they, for the most part, they take excellent care of her, apart from when one of the carers nicked some money from her safe.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. They nicked 90 quid from her. Nice one, guys. Thanks. Apart from that, though, they apart from one bad apple, which we never found out who it was, everybody there is delightful.
But, hang on in there. My dad was in a care home and then a nursing home with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And him and Mum dedicated their body to medical science, and unfortunately Mum died suddenly, and once you have a post-mortem, you can't go to medical science.
Can you not? I did not know that.
Okay.
I suppose because of the what they have to do in a post-mortem, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what distressed me most. Not that my mum had died. she's had a good and full life, died at 88. It was the fact that her long felt wish that she wanted to be useful after life was not going to be fulfilled. But, of course, my brother has convinced me, and you remind me of my brother very much, my brother has convinced me that actually she has done it, really, but in a different way. Because, of course, the
things of this show is that people can call in about literally anything.
Yeah. And I just think death, us British, we brush it under the carpet.
Yeah. Oh, I've said for ages that we should teach it in schools.
Oh, yeah.
Because no one talks about it. No one talks about it.
I mean, Mum and I, we talked about it openly. It wasn't a death is life sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's going to happen to all of us, man, and yet we don't, you're right, we don't talk about it, and we don't find out what our loved ones want, to happen to them when they pass away, or, and it's, we don't know people's passwords for their Facebook and their Twitter accounts. I remember for ages when my dad died, he would pop up in my Facebook feed, and it was like, oh, it would just break my heart every time.
Yes. I loved your story about your dad. That you found it so hard to... What can I say?
There was a wasted opportunity.
Sort of mend that relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that must have been tough.
Yeah.
I told my mum all about that.
Oh, well, I'm glad that she was... I'm glad that she listened and she enjoyed it. Thea, listen, I've got to move on because I want to squeeze Sam in before the end of the show. But
Ian, keep on in there, keep trucking.
Thank you very much, Thea. And it's really nice to talk to you, and lots of love to you and to Mum and Dad wherever they may be now. Thank you for that. Hey, let's go to Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Sam. How you doing?
I'm all right. I feel I need to lift things a bit.
No, this is it's a clunky gear change. I'm a big fan of. No one does the clunky gear changes where you go from light to shade, then back to light. Beautiful. That's life, man. It's life. What you got for us, Sam?
Absolutely. I just wanted to ring in. I spoke to you probably a couple of months ago now, and I remember talking to you about Scrupulous Pip, and I was on the way to a job earlier, and I wanted to ring in earlier, but I couldn't. But I heard that you were going to be maybe on his podcast, and he's hopefully going to come in, and I thought, that's awesome.
He's coming on the show, and we've been emailing each other a little bit, not massively, but I asked him, because I've wanted him to come on for ages, right, but I don't know that much about him, but the little bits I do know, I really, really like.
Yeah, he's a very interesting chap.
Yeah, he is, and I know that he follows me on Twitter, but I hate doing just asking people to come on the show in case they don't want to, so I didn't want to put him in an awkward position. But I heard him on another radio station, and I thought, I'm going to order his book, because I want to get his book, and I'm just going to tweet him and just say, look, do you fancy coming on, man? No worries if you don't. And he said he'd love to, and he asked me on his podcast, and we've been emailing each other, and I said, look, let me get the book, let me read the book, and then I'll send you some dates, and you can come on, and we'll sort something out. So, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I've ordered the book, and he's, there's some really interesting things. Like, he's got a stutter. Which is ridiculous when you listen to how he's able to put things to music. How anyone can do that with a stutter is amazing. And he's got some really interesting techniques I've heard him talk about and stuff and been interviewed. So, that's good. I know he talks
he talks a lot about men's mental health.
He does, yeah.
And men's suicide and stuff like that. Which I'm kind of linked with to a certain extent. So, I'm looking forward to talking to him. And a lot of people have suggested that I get him on, and I appreciate everyone that nudged me.
Good. And that was kind of it, really. I've spent my last couple of days off sort of listening to some old YouTube clips of you and Barry. I cannot say how much you two make me chuckle. And when the amount of times you announced that a little bit of wee's come out, it's just it just makes me chuckle a lot. So thank you for that.
Sam, Sam, you're an absolute pleasure. Listen, I'm going to move on because I want to squeeze Matthew in this last call, but thank you, Sam. Matthew, you made it with 2 minutes to spare, Matthew.
Hello.
Hello, Matthew. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you very much. I'm tired, but I am feeling refreshed after tonight's show. And here's the thing, man. I'm going to go home and I'm going to play Xbox for an hour or so. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that'll do. What you got for us, Matthew, in the dying moments of the show?
I haven't really got anything. I just kind of wanted to pop my head in, say that I've been listening for about 6 years. Always been really nervous to call you.
People are nervous to call, and I saw lots of people on Twitter and Periscope and the Facebook page saying, "Oh, I'd like to call him, but I'm a little bit nervous." Have you got any? And I don't think there is, but is there anything I could do, Matthew, to make it less nerve-wracking?
Not really.
Yeah.
It's just dependent on the person.
I think it is, and I mean, I try and make people as welcome as I can, and I mean, if people are idiots, I'll tell them they're idiots. I try and be honest with people, but I try and make people as welcome as they can. But I guess, you know, it's just a weird thing, isn't it? To phone up a radio station at 5 minutes to 1. It's a little bit nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel a little bit weird in my stomach.
I bet you do. But you did it, mate. You did it. And you're the last caller of what has been a very special evening. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to call up because I do, you know, the YouTube stuff for you and all that.
Oh, is it Matthew?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise it's Matthew Stevenson.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I didn't realise it was you. Oh, this guy, right? Yeah. Give people your Twitter handle, and I'll tell you why you need it. Just give them your Twitter handle.
It's at MattyStevo93, and that's STEVO.
Right, because if you want hooky copies of the whole shows, at MattyStevo, what was it?
93.
You need to follow this guy. Oh, man, listen. Thank you so much. We've got literally 20 seconds, so my turn to speak. Thank you so much for all of the hard work you do, and I know that you've been struggling a bit recently, and I was going to reach out and I didn't because I was struggling, but I really, genuinely, really appreciate everything you do to help promote the show and stuff, man, so thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure, and, you know, thank you for everything you do on the radio.
What a delightful way to end the show, Matthew. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kath. Thank you, Ed. Back tonight at 10. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Pick up your phone and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.